Ohtani will soon start a throwing program that may allow him to play in the field this season. But Roberts confirmed Ohtani will not pitch this year and will primarily be the DH.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
Game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
And a big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. It's good to be back in this driver's seat. It's been a few days since I've seen you guys. I've missed you. Noah, I appreciate you last week for sitting in. I had a wonderful time on spring break. I know many of you did as well, and I appreciate Noah for driving everything. And I'm going to get him to do a recap coming up in just a couple of minutes of what all we missed. But I do want to open up the show thanking Tony and Brett for stepping in and to being able to host 20 hours of radio. My understanding is it went as planned, right? Noah's looking at me with this look. Maybe I should just ask you for a recap, but got a big announcement coming up here in about 3 minutes that I'll make publicly on the air, and we'll do that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Man, it's a busy week. I mean, this is a busy week. We've got 2 practices. We've got Pro Day. We've got Alabama play in Charleston, and we'll dive into that. I was on the conference call last night with Nate Oates and learned a lot. I think it was a great reminder. I know the season, and he even pointed out the way that it was a disappointment. But I thought he said some things that I'm going to take and kind of drive it with the conversation today. It almost gives you a step back. We've also expected at some point this afternoon to get somewhat of a confirmation with a lot of salaries, a lot of contracts, whether it's Nate Oates or Kalen DeBoer or even Greg Byrne and some of the assistant coaches. So I feel like between now and 6 o'clock, we're going to learn a little bit more. And I know that we have somewhat of a guess on what the Kalen DeBoer salary will be. And I think that's significant because you back up and you look at what he was making at UW and now what he's making at the University of Alabama. But Noah, is there any way that if for those who were out there on spring break, laying on the beach, enjoying the beautiful lower coast of Alabama, what did we miss? I mean, can you give me somewhat of a recap verbally? I mean, what did I miss last week? Like your big takeaway at the end of the 20 hours, what was something that maybe grabbed you?
Oh, goodness.
And I do thank you, by the way, Noah. I thank you and Tony and Brett. And I got to get pizza and cookies and Kool-Aid or whatever the choice may be. But what would you say would be the main takeaway of last week? I mean, like if you could summarize it in just a couple of words, what would you say?
Well, it was off the rails, I think.
Like a free-for-all Monday, free-for-all Tuesday, free-for-all?
I think so. It was a free-for-all every single day. So
do I ever make you nervous when I'm on the show?
When you're on the show?
Like when I'm across the glass. Is there ever a point where I create anxiety within you? I mean, not like going to break, but I mean, something I say that, that grabbed you from a standpoint of like, you're like, uh-oh, I'm about to get in trouble. Do I ever do that, Noah, to you? Yes. Never mind. You're not going to answer it. Yes. I'm going to go fill that in. Yes. You're saying yes. Okay. Were you nervous last week? Were you nervous last week at any that like my job may be in jeopardy? Like my job?
Well, I wasn't really worried too much about you, Ryan. I don't really worry too much about your future. So I just try to think about myself.
Okay, but were you worried about yourself? Were you worried about that?
No, I had the mute button ready, and so I think we were good to go.
So were you running a 15-second delay last week? 20 seconds?
Like a 2-minute delay.
Oh, about a 2-minute delay. Where you just hit the whole entire button and drop it? Okay.
Yeah, there were full segments that didn't even make it to air.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We got into some wild topics. Tony started talking about politics, and then he started talking about crazy stuff and conspiracies.
Like politics, as in...
He started talking about he was ranking his top 10 favorite conspiracies, and it was getting crazy. I had to dump that whole segment. I just went to commercial.
But nobody complained, right? I mean, or did they?
I think everyone who... I think if someone was complaining, they weren't telling us.
Okay. So they were... And I do read a lot of the app messages, so I didn't see too many of those. I do read those from time to time because Wyatt, I don't know if you can fix this, but I think I'm CC'd on every one of the shows. So if Martin Houston gets a compliment at 6 a.m. in the morning, I get that in my inbox. I don't know how I've been able to sign up for that privilege of. So if Wyatt,
my email inbox is just flooded with that.
So I get those. So I have to filter all that out. But so if maybe I could just ask you a summary of this, maybe we could just play the one shining moment, because I hear this was a producer award winning segment. This is what you missed. If you missed last week, this is what it sounded like right here on The Game, presented by Tuscaloosa Toyota on Tide 100.9.
Welcome to The Game. You've been warned. We've warned you all week. My name's Tony. I'm with the world-class executive chef of Southern Ale House. Brett, do never say gardener. You say gardener. Each year, Auburn's really good. Audacious, the motto, whatever. I've heard the new one is embrace the suck. S-A-U-C-K.
That's good. I like that.
Thanks, Booger. I appreciate it. All right. I mean, he hung up. We win. Yeah. We win.
Noah, you got to get it together. I don't know what you got to do. You may have to call Ken. Listen, she was the best in the business, okay?
I got you a bunch of pizza for you to pick up. So what we're trying the Nukes Q, the pepperoni, the spicy shrimp, and the barbecue chicken.
I think there's one more. Was there 3 or 4? There's 4.
I just named 4.
Oh,
see, this guy's eating already. And then
I've already taken a bite.
He did it to me again, Noah. He's done it all week.
I haven't tried anything.
Is this like fan run radio? You've got to be one of the most unprofessional openings I have ever heard.
Embrace the suck. One thing we know, Fowler, you have not listened to any of this show. Not just today, but all week. Because you've been down there playing canasta with the snowbirds, a little bingo, killing the buffets.
Hand, knee, and foot. It's a pretty good game. Embrace the suck.
Can I get a dog?
She wants a dog. You know I can't tell you no, baby. So of course you can.
Roll Tide.
Embrace the suck. Let's get it on.
Embrace the suck. That's what you sucked eggs like that 2 weeks ago. I bet you could pour 1.5 eggs in your mouth. You suck so bad. Jesus.
You know what? Y'all need a show.
Did we get clearance? We did. All right. We're getting clearance now to make sure, because we're supposed to go early to baseball.
That's right.
We got on the phone. We saw who was calling.
The number one caller of Eminent.
Yeah. The guy that says he's the number one caller.
No, he is.
Right. And then we sat there. We sat there, and then we talked, we were told that we can give him a couple extra minutes before we go to baseball.
All right, Bama Nick, what you got going on? We got 15 minutes.
We got 15 minutes.
Let her rip.
Let's go.
No one's walking on your call.
Well, I'm going to need 15.
Thank you for listening to The Game with Ryan Fowler.
So, Noah, that's the way it sounded. All right, so my big takeaway from that is just based on what I heard there, Tony got soft on Barrett Sallee. I mean,
he was talking a big game.
Like, that's my takeaway from that one shining moment is how, if there's anything that last week did, it united Barrett and Tony. I mean, you can hear it. You could hear it in their voice. Okay. All right. So it sounded like that was a ton of fun. So no wonder you were worried about your job. But what day was it off the rails worse than the other days? Was it Friday? The Free-for-All Friday sponsored by Brian Hard Construction. Was it the day?
Friday was a little crazy. I think there was some day that there were a couple days that we were like doing like baseball or basketball, and I was like, oh no, we had to shift.
Okay. All right. So, but nothing I should be ready for today. Nothing I need to clean up. Nobody I need to apologize to. Nobody.
We had a caller call and say she was not a fan of them saying "embrace the suck" so much. She didn't like that.
Okay.
She didn't think that.
Well, I mean, we don't spell it the same. It's SAUCK, so it's not like the typical suck. It's a different type of suck. It's just an Auburn. By the way, we want to take just a minute to let the Auburn people cry on our shoulder. We're sorry that you guys, it just doesn't have the status. You don't have the status when you're an ag school and you're kind of, you win the SEC and have you seen the reaction from these folks? But anyway, hey, listen, busy week. We will talk once again. We'll have our second conversation with Kalen DeBoer on Wednesday. He'll be live on the show at 5 o'clock. So we'll feature Kalen DeBoer, and we'll also feature some other coaches as we travel throughout spring. So kind of a little bit of at that point, I guess it'll be, 1/3 of the way through spring training. So we'll feature Kalen on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And I got a lot of big guests that are scheduled that will make an appearance throughout the week. And we even, a couple of interviews that final week, we ended up pushing them back to this week. We've got Mario Cristobal on this week, so we'll talk with him, University of Miami head football coach. So, and then we've got a special guest that's coming in the studio tomorrow. That we're going to have a chance. And it's somebody that you guys love. It's somebody, and I say this, this is someone that's connected to someone that you guys just have a lot of love for. And so we'll feature him tomorrow in the studio. He's going to come in and hang out with us for a little bit. And we're going to tell some great stories and being able to share some great moments around Alabama football history and someone that's a big part of our history. So we'll have that coming up tomorrow. And today we're going to feature Drew DeArmond, and we'll feature Tony's new best friend, Barrett Sallee, coming up at 3:30. He's now joined Outkick and it's got the new job. So we'll talk to Barrett coming up. Is there any guest that I need to reach out and apologize to in your part? No, I mean
maybe Mike Griffith.
So Mike was upset.
He was a little upset.
Do you want me to read the message as I'm walking down the beach?
Yes.
What the heck did I just go through? That was the message. And I said, what happened, Mike? My wife and I are on vacation celebrating our 25th anniversary. I could not listen. He said, congrats on your anniversary. We could talk later about it. Not very happy. I was like, okay, all right. So Mike and I have got to catch
Fan Run Radio.
Yeah,
it's got to be one of the most unprofessional openings I have ever heard.
But Rodney embraced it. Rodney sounded like he was Rodney's kind of convincing these guys to get their own show. So anyway, I do appreciate Brett.
What? Y'all need a show.
They do, yeah, and maybe we can. Surely we can find a spot somewhere around here. We can somehow work it in. So we'll dive into it a lot of different ways. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, Toyota.com. 3325 Skyland Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyland Boulevard and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. So a big show lined up for you all throughout the week. We're going to take phone calls. Phone lines almost jammed up. I guess I see one line available at 205-342-9904. We'll talk to Greg in Athens first up. Steve in Raleigh and Robert in Mobile. We'll take your calls, and maybe you can just do a little recap of what we missed or anything that you thought. So I have a job. I looked for the pink papers a couple of minutes ago. I didn't see any. Did anybody leave me a note somewhere in here?
I threw it away before you got here.
Oh, you did? But I do see I've got some red spots, so that means I'm here for a little bit. I don't know if that means I see R&R cigars up there. I see the red spots that are written, the Standard, the Wharf, and the others there. I got to put my glasses on to see the finer print, but I will take care of that during the break. But we are powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, and I do think Tony Brett, and then also when you think about Noah having to drive the did any of our interns get exposed to any of this behavior? Do I need to apologize to them?
Simon did. The rest of them were on spring break, as you'll remember.
Oh, did Simon work every day last week?
No, he was here Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
Tony and Brett were getting to him, I think.
Oh, were they really? Was he getting stressed?
Oh, yeah.
So I did that.
There was a point where he went to the other room.
Did he really?
Because he was working on an article. He was like, I got to go to the other room to work.
Oh, he just couldn't keep a straight focus. So it wasn't like it was unclean. It was just, Noah's like, yeah, it's kind of that too. But okay, I got you. Well, we will do our best to salvage the show. We'll see if we can drive it between the ditches. But I do appreciate Brett and Tony and Noah and Simon as well, and whoever else that made a contribution. Paul and Lincoln, I heard, came in and sit down for a few hours. So that was a ton of fun. So we'll talk to Drew DeArmond coming up. We'll talk to Barrett Sallee, Tony's new best friend, at 3:30. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll talk to Martin Houston. And we've got a lot of great interviews throughout the week that we've got scheduled right here on The Game, powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
A freeze warning is in effect for all of West Alabama tonight through tomorrow morning. Temperatures are expected in the 20s north of Tuscaloosa and at or just below freezing to the south. East Tuscaloosa residents will rally at 5 this afternoon at the 4-decade-old pedestrian bridge over Veterans Memorial Parkway in an effort to save it from the wrecking ball. The Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office awaiting word from West Alabama Republican Congressman Robert Adderholt's request for $450,000 from the federal government to renovate and expand the agency's substation.
Our customers are glad Bruce is behind the counter. Locally owned and operated with the largest inventory in the area. It's Northport Auto Supply.
Why go anywhere else?
DreamlandBBQ.com. Dreamland Barbecue since 1958. Coach Bryant arrived at the University of Alabama. So did Dreamland with Big Daddy's Barbecue Hickory Smoke Ribs. If you're talking about catering for that big tailgate, or maybe it's just that family gathering or that small office party, you could do it at either location. You can also order online, carry out, curbside pickup, delivery are now available. It is DreamlandBBQ.com. We do our score prediction every Tuesday and Wednesday, made possible by Dreamland. That wonderful hickory smoked barbecue ribs. How about the Big Daddy barbecue sandwich? Those wings are underrated. They're one of the best in town. You'll find them there. How about those barbecue baked potatoes? Absolutely. Either local.
Great family picks with new Easter looks. It's easy with women's and girls' dresses for only $20 and under. Low prices on everything for Easter? Now that's Target.
The Pharmacy at Midtown, TJ Thomas. He's the Nick Saban of pharmacists. And if your pharmacist doesn't have an Alabama shirt on, you don't want him. 205-752-0627. Sterile compounding facility, the only sterile compounding facility here in T-Town and West Alabama. All the compounding needs. The retail side, if you're looking for a pharmacy, many of those have closed here in West Alabama, and you're looking to transfer your prescriptions, PharmacyMidtown.com. PharmacyMidtown.com. Conveniently located right there at the back of Midtown. You'll find the Pharmacy at Midtown, a huge part of our show.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 57 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to the best sports talk show, breaking down the Crimson Tide. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream. Sweetheart, hello, hello again.
All right, let's go to Drew DeArmond, 97.7 The Zone, talking ball. Scott Tyson every Monday through Friday from 7 until 9, right there on the only sports station in the Rocket City. Drew D, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back, Ryan. It's great to be on with you. How are you?
I'm good, man. And I want to get your reaction to a lot of things, but I want to go back to something Nate Oates said last night on the Zoom call. And I think it's a great reminder because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be disappointed today when you look back at, and I'm sure, your fan base this morning up in Huntsville, same way. Not the performance that Alabama was looking for the SEC tournament, but it could be a blessing in disguise. But a great reminder. He said with Alabama's number 1 overall seed last year and then a number 4 seed this year and back-to-back NCAA tournaments, that's never happened in Alabama school history. Let that sink in for a couple of minutes. Give me your analysis.
Well, I mean, certainly Alabama played as tough a schedule as anybody in the country. That's the reason, their record is 21-11. It's not, 24-7, 25-6, something like that, or 27-5, but it's 21-11, and they're still a 4 seed because of the schedule that they played. I mean, they did not have a bad loss all year. And what I mean by that is to an opponent that's considered subpar. They 10 of their 11 losses were to NCAA tournament teams. The 11th was to Ohio State, who was on the cusp of being an NCAA tournament team and won 20 games. So they played an extremely tough schedule. Now, I think they got a pretty good draw potentially in the NCAA tournament. Now they have to take advantage of that with the matchup, since it is a matchup game, but they still have to go out and execute. They could. This could be a situation. I know people have compared it to 2 years ago when they went out against Notre Dame with the 6. They played a difficult schedule. Did not win 20, and then really that season, I think they've lost 4 out of 6 now. They lost, I think, their last 5 in a row, including in the NCAA tournament when they went down to Notre Dame. But I think this team is better than that team. Certainly, they're a better offensive team. The big key for me, and I think the reason they lost 4 out of 6 down the stretch, people want to continue to harp on the defense, and it's not where it needs to be. But I think the biggest issue has been their health. They have not been healthy. They lost Latrell Wrightsell for 2 weeks, and then now they've been without Ryland Griffin, and then they got Ryland back, but he was rusty. I mean, I was at that game. I was at the game against Florida. He just wasn't himself. He didn't make the usual plays that he would make, and the shots. And so, the biggest thing to me is, it may have been a blessing in disguise to go out early. They need to get healthy, and then they also were very fortunate. They don't play until Friday, and really Friday evening, and so they get some extra time to prepare. And certainly, Charleston is a quality opponent, and they've only played Alabama one time, and of course, Pat Kelsey was not the head coach. Nate Oates was not there either. I think that was the first year under David Hobbs. Alabama lost 82-60, so that doesnent even really matter. So again, I think it's an opponent. They have seen the Kelsey's program at Winthrop, and that was in 2015, I believe, during the Anthony Grant era. So they won 72-60. So. But again, that doesn't matter either. They've not seen this Charleston team in a long, long time, and they play similar to Alabama, a modern style of basketball. They play up and down. Both teams don't have great defensive numbers, but both teams can score the ball. To be honest with you, I think Alabama just has to have their mind right and lock in. I think they can win this game, and I think if they play well offensively and they can give you 7 or 8 minutes of good defense and locked-in defense with this particular team the way they are, I think they can pull away from teams. I've seen them do it. This Texas A&M team is playing so well right now. I watched Alabama beat them 100-75 in Coleman Coliseum because that's kind of the way they played. And that's what they're going to have to do in this situation. They're going to have to get, guys like their good guard play, because that's what drives college basketball now. But they're going to have to get good interior play too. They're not a great team on the front line, but Grant Nelson needs to have a Florida type performance where he's efficient offensively and he gives you a lot and stays on the floor, doesn't foul. And then Nick Pringle's got to be locked in. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they play. But I still think this draw is beneficial. If they win the first game, they're either going to get St. Mary's or Grand Canyon, and Grand Canyon is kind of like Alabama. They play a very, fast pace. Now, St. Mary's does not. They want to control the pace. They're bigger. They're a more physical team. Though I will say I don't think they're a San Diego State level of physical, but they're very skilled, and so that would be an intriguing matchup as well. But I do think if Alabama can lock in, play defense, at a better level than they have, and then and just shoot the basketball well, because I do think of the 4 teams in that pod, they have the best offensive team. If Alabama can play well offensively, they can score 95 to 100 on anybody in that pod. I mean, even in their last game against Florida, they did not play well, and they scored 88 points. So, again, they need to defend, rebound, win the battle on the glass. And if they do that, I think this Alabama team can get to the Sweet 16. But, again, they need to worry about Charleston and locking in. But I just really think the majority of their struggles, I know they're not a great defensive team, but, heck, I mean, I think it's been the health. They've got to be healthy. They're not, because look, Ryan, I was in Nashville on Friday. I watched Kentucky and Texas A&M, and they're both really, really good teams. Neither one of them played great defense. Florida didn't play great defense either. it's an offensive game right now. There's not really a lockdown defensive team. Auburn's probably the closest that we've seen. They won the SEC tournament. But this Alabama team can still rewrite the ending. And I've told some people already this week that, it's coming up on the 20-year anniversary. But, our Alabama's only Elite Eight team wasn't playing great basketball going into the tournament either, and yet they caught fire. So basketball's a funny game. It's a funny sport. I go back to Nate Oates, and he's already had 2 Sweet 16 runs at Alabama. So he's won a first round game over a really talented Arizona team at Buffalo. He knows how to play games in the NCAA tournament, and you just got to have faith that this Alabama team's going to get healthy, get refocused, and hopefully play well against the quality opponent in Charleston.
So, Drew, your expectations right now, based on this bracket, what do you think? Sweet 16? You think they can go further?
I mean, I think they can get to the Sweet 16. Look, Ryan, after that, you're probably talking about North Carolina, unless the bracket gets blown up. I would think that North Carolina, would reach the round of 16, but there's no guarantees in these tournaments. I mean, he got turned on its ear last year when Purdue lost early. I mean, we saw Florida Atlantic get to the Final Four, and Florida Atlantic nearly went to the national championship game. But do I think this Alabama team, based on what I've watched this year, is capable in this draw of getting to the Sweet 16? Yes. Yeah, I'll be honest. I watched North Carolina lose to NC State. I think Alabama could definitely give North Carolina a game. But, that you can't – that's another thing in the NCAA tournament. You can't get caught looking ahead. You have to worry about Charleston. Charleston is definitely capable of beating Alabama. They can score. They can score the basketball. They average over 80 points per game. So the first thing Alabama's got to do is lock in, beat Charleston. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people saying that, this season's been disappointing. I don't know that they're going to win in the tournament. You can rewrite everything by going on a run, and that's what this team can do. It didn't do it 2 years ago, but I think this team is more skilled and better and has a little more depth. But the thing, again, that's concerning is the health, and hopefully they can get healthy and get a round of 64W, and then just take your chances on whether you get Grand Canyon or St. Mary's. Either one's a quality opponent, but I think it's one that Alabama definitely has a chance. And that's where I go back to what we started in this conversation, and that's the schedule that you played. You challenged yourself throughout, including, let's not forget, beating a team in Indiana State that I thought got hosed and should have been in the tournament. I mean, I think they won 28 games. They played Alabama over in Tuscaloosa. It was a high-scoring game. But I just think Alabama has challenged itself, and hopefully with a good week of preparation and getting healthier, that schedule will help them in this coming weekend in Spokane, Washington.
Let's go to this contract situation where Nate Oates is expected at some point this afternoon. We're expected to get some type of announcement, official board of trustees, exactly this salary. But as reported on Friday by multiple different outlets, that Nate Oates will become a top 5 highest paid basketball coach. Drew, you've always wanted a commitment to Alabama basketball program. Certainly there's more things that they can do, but that's a big start.
No question. I mean, especially with some of the jobs that are open at Michigan, where he's from, Romulus. He spent a decade at Romulus High School in Detroit, so he has ties to that state. There's no doubt they would have been interested in him. He probably would have been the top candidate there. And then Louisville, I think Nate could have gone to Louisville 2 years ago. He did not choose to do so. He certainly would have been a candidate there. So Greg Byrne, as he's done throughout his tenure, is taking care of coaches and certainly understands the commodity that he has in Nate Oates, who has done a tremendous job. He's recruiting at an extremely high level. I think probably the highest level I've ever seen at Alabama. He's got another great 3-man class coming in. I'm sure they're not done. They'd like to find a rim protector probably in the transfer portal. But, you got Nas Cunningham, Nate Sherrill, and Aiden Sherrill, pardon me, and Darion Reed. I mean, that's 3 guys, 2 of them McDonald's All-Americans. Nas is another guy that's in the top 50 or so. So they're recruiting at a very high clip. They've got a chance to bring several guys back next year. it can be an extremely talented team now. And then he lost his entire coaching staff a year ago to head coaching jobs. They're doing a very solid job. I know, Brian Hodgson got a postseason bid in his first, I think, the CBI after his first year at Arkansas State. They reached the championship game of the Sun Belt Conference, and now he's lost Austin Claunch, after just 1 year. But that's not surprising. Claunch did a great job with this group, and he's going to go, he's taking a job, at UTSA. So congratulations to him. But it'll be another opportunity to bring in maybe a defensive-minded guy that can help on that end of the court. But Nate Oates has done a great job developing players, coaches, and a great culture and organization. And I applaud Greg Byrne for putting together this contract. If you kind of gauge it in the top 5 in the country, I would imagine he's going to be making close to $7 million per year. That's unheard of at Alabama, but that just shows the commitment. I do think a new arena will be built, maybe not as quickly as myself or others wanted because of factors like COVID / building costs, which kind of, screwed the economy up because fundraising was going really well before then. And then also, it's just a fact that, right, that with the climate in the country today being an election year and everything going on, it's delayed some things, but I do think it'll eventually get done. And I think it's a positive sign that has never been at the top for Nate Oates. He's wanted a good NIL program, which they've given Alabama, or they would not be able to recruit at the level they're recruiting at right now. That took priority as well. That's what Nate Oates wanted. Whatever Coach Oates has wanted, Greg Byrne has been able to get done. And Nate has come out and said he wants the arena, but I think he's going to be patient with it. He likes where he works, and I think that's big. And that's been my biggest thing with Greg Byrne and why I think he's the best AD Alabama has had, because he's taken care of all the elite coaches on campus, and he's had to execute searches in the Big Three, and he's done it at such a high level and done such a good job. They've been so clean. And then he does a great job of staying ahead of the curve, and that is continuing to keep these coaches happy and take care of their needs from a salary standpoint, from a budget standpoint, giving them the tools that they need to win. And I think this is another big step in that direction, getting Nate Oates to agree to, I think, his 4th contract extension since he's been at Alabama, and hopefully keep him in Tuscaloosa for a long time.
Yeah, is there a buyout number that you're looking for in this new contract that would?
I mean, his buyout had been $12 million. I think, at some point near the end of this season, it dropped to 10. I'm sure there's going to be another hefty figure in that. And Nate Oates is probably fine with that. He's not looking to leave. I would think that the buyout would probably be among the highest in college basketball because, again, you're trying to keep, your head coach. But the thing about college basketball I've also tried to tell people is, these blue blood jobs that you consider the best of the best, the Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, even Arizona, they don't come open very often. And when they do, most of the time these universities peg the higher, and these guys stay at these places for a long time. So I think Alabama, I think the Alabama job, I think Nate Oates has, with his success and what he's done at the university, I've always said Alabama had an underrated basketball history. They also have a basketball history where they don't lose coaches. CM Newton left and went into temporary retirement to work for the SEC, but he didn't leave for another school, and neither did any of the other coaches after him. They were dismissed. They never left for another school. So I think Alabama takes care of their basketball coaches. I think they have an underrated following and a passionate following, and I think Alabama's history is, they have been to a ton of Sweet 16s. They've been to one Elite Eight. Now they haven't broken through to get to the Final Four because it's very hard to do, but they've produced a lot of pros. I mean, it's an underrated basketball state as well. And I think when you look at what Auburn and Alabama have done, taking care of their coaches and being able to hold on to them, I think it's changed the way that the state and the two programs are viewed. And just like guys like Jeff Goodman, who are so connected in the basketball world, he, comes out this weekend and says, look, Nate Oates was never going to go to Michigan anyway because he has a better job. So Jeff Goodman he looked at the Alabama job as being better than Michigan, even though Michigan's been to, a national championship game. They've won it in 89. They've been to Final Fours. But as of right now, he views the Alabama job as better than Michigan, and I think a lot of people do. And Nate Oates is getting the level of player that he wants. If he was not, he would have already moved on from Alabama. So he's getting all the resources and tools that he needs. Now people just need to let him continue to build and put this thing together. We'll see what this team does, but the future is very, very bright in Alabama basketball, and it's never been better in our state. You've got 4 teams from our state going to the field of 68, and 3 of them, unbelievably, are going to be in Spokane, Washington. So it's a great time to be a basketball fan in the state of Alabama.
Judy Arman, not a lot to talk about on the football side of things, but Alabama back out on the spring practice field tomorrow, also on Thursday, and then again on Saturday. They got a pro day sandwiched in there on a Wednesday afternoon, and Wednesday morning. I know that that will be a big moment, but not a lot of things on the football side of things because of the spring break that allowed these coaches and players to get a couple of days of shutdown.
Yeah, I mean, they had 3 practices, and I know one of them was open, and you heard a little buzz coming out of Tuscaloosa, but they took a week's break, and now they're going to get back to it, certainly. And as you mentioned, there's Pro Day. It'll be the first one under Kalen DeBoer on Wednesday, but I'm sure Nick Saban will be there. A lot of his guys are. This will be another very fruitful draft class for the University of Alabama, his final one at the university. So that'll be very interesting to see that on Wednesday. The Coaches Clinic is coming up in the coming days. There'll be, I think, at least 3 scrimmages, and then the last 2 being on April 6th and an A-Day on April the 13th, which is going to be nationally televised on ESPN. So it'll be back to football, but it also shows you how, popular basketball has gotten because, of course, they weren't practicing. There was no buzz coming out because they weren't working, but people have been focusing on basketball. And shout out to Christy Curry. I mean, they got a tough draw, but the ladies go back to the tournament. They're an 8 seed. So there's been a lot of positivity coming out basketball-wise, but it'll be back to the grind. They're going to be a lot starting tomorrow. There'll be people focusing on football and very excited. I know there's another open practice this week, so that's going to be very nice to see some of the action coming out. And of course, you'll hear from coaches and media, assistant coaches and players and things of that nature. So it's exciting. There's a lot of positivity coming out about the work that Jalen Milroe's putting in. So I'm sure that'll be continued to be monitored. And hopefully, this team will continue to take shape. They won't have any injuries because we know they don't have a lot of depth on the offensive line right now. So they need to stay healthy. So, but it's an exciting time on the campus of the University of Alabama. Not to mention that the baseball team and what they did in their opening SEC series under Rob Vaughn. Because anytime you kick Tennessee's ass in any sport, it's a great moment.
I think we would agree with that. We'll end it right there. Drew D 977, Drew D 977 ESPN. He's taking the private charter out to Spokane, Washington. He'll have all the coverage. Talking ball 7 until 9 up in the Rocket City 97.7 The Zone. Hey, Drew, appreciate you as always, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Drew D 977 ESPN. We're going to continue. We'll get a reaction. We want to take your calls, and we'll do that. We'll ask you, what do you think? What is your expectation? And then tomorrow we'll do our tournament as we've always done here, and we'll have a little bit of a challenge, and we'll have some fun as we travel throughout the week. A big week for you as we kind of get back in the saddle of things. We'll do it coming up next. Greg and Athens will take you first up, but I want to go back to something I missed. I think it's worth going back and touching one more time. We'll do it next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Tuesday, 7:30. We'll have Kevin Skarbanski, and we'll talk to Kevin about all 4 teams from the state of Alabama playing in the NCAA tournament. Plus, we'll take your phone calls throughout the show. We'll look at
made fresh when you order. So whatever the size of your appetite,
there's always something delicious waiting for you here at Taco Casa.
Taco Casa under the biggest cactus in town.
DanielMooreArt.com. Celebrate that special Alabama fan in your life. 4th and 31. The legacy continues. All those great moments in that Nick Saban dynasty you can find at DanielMooreArt.com. Remember, The Game is the code word for a significant discount. The Game. And also remind those guys, when you buy something, that you heard about it right here on The Game with Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9. DanielMooreArt.com. All the Nick Saban prints, whether you're celebrating Mark Ingram, Bryce Young, Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry, the great Heisman moments.
Resort.com. Lone Star. Saturday, May 25th, Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center.
No news.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship.
Touchdown, Alabama!
On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
You know, well, I'm a chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
All right, Jordy Armand coming in a couple of minutes ago. We'll take your phone calls, and we'll start with Greg in Athens. Greg, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, good afternoon, Ryan. Thank you for taking my call, and welcome back.
Thank you. What did I miss, Greg?
Well, I only listened to about 15 minutes of the show. And it sounded like the portion you played earlier at your lead-in. You remember Jimmy Carter, president from Plains, Georgia?
I know who he is. I was born in 78.
Well, he had a brother named Billy.
I was young. Yes.
Yeah, he had a brother named Billy. And Billy didn't belong in the White House. And if you can imagine Billy sitting there in a pair of wife beaters and some cargo shorts trying to negotiate a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt in 1976, that's what we had last week when I listened.
Okay. So writing you down for a check of no?
Yeah, here's the thing, and shows do whatever they want, but if I have a problem with my hip, I go see a hip guy. I don't go talk to a plumber, right? And if I want to talk politics, I'll call a regular talk show. And it was just off the rails. I mean...
well, you should have got it. You should have called and maybe fixed it somehow.
I'm a teacher, not a miracle worker.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Right.
Noah.
Say anymore. I mean, there's a Navy term. It's called cluster, and I won't say the last part of it.
Thank you.
Because I don't use that, but that's what it was. I mean, just in my opinion, and all. But hey,
cluster
sometimes you do things, and maybe next time I'm out to go another direction.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. What I did is I tried to make Noah appreciate me. So like today, I mean, you should have saw this. I mean, like when I got out of my car, I mean, there was like a rose petal trail up here just to make sure. I mean, Noah was very happy that I was back, and I was like, Noah, but so now maybe the big thing, the big takeaway for me is how Tony and Barrett now are best friends. That's what's unique.
Right. Well, maybe that's a silver lining to a hurricane,
There we go. How far can Alabama go?
Well, I think Alabama could be a Sweet 16 team, but in the last couple of weeks, with the way they've been playing, I would be more shocked if they got past 16 than I would if they lost in the first round.
Okay. So you would be more shocked if they got to the Sweet 16 than that you would be if they just got beat.
If they won their Sweet 16 game, I would be shocked.
Oh, and so make it to the second appearance in the Elite Eight in the history of the program. Okay.
Yeah. because
I don't hear a lot of confidence in that voice, Greg.
Well, I mean, it's just based on evidence, they haven't demonstrated a willingness or a desire to play any kind of defense. And, we know what their defensive proficiencies are, but or where they're lacking, but they are not also hitting their long balls at a decent clip. And so, when you're not doing the things you need to do to win and you can't do the things you need to do to improve, it's hard to be confident about anything. And so, I hope they are successful. But, the last few years you've done a contest, and I've always picked them. I wouldn't pick them this time to win it all. So, and that doesn't mean.
And we'll do that tomorrow for what Greg's talking about, and we'll line it up where we'll take phone calls and you draft your team, and that's a team that you'll ride with. We'll do some other bracket challenges, and we'll get you involved as we always do. And we're going to give away Bama Nick's prize package that he refused to pick up. So when he refused to pick it up, we're going to give it away. So Bama Nick, we thank you for that dynamic prize package, and he wanted us to recycle it, and that's the way we're going to do it. So we're going to have some fun with it.
Well, when you don't have a driver's license, it's hard to get around. So, anyways.
Greg is just like unloading on a Monday.
We've got to, Alabama's going to end up playing, if they win enough, they're going to end up playing North Carolina, and that's when they will be ceremoniously disposed of. And the only thing that you can hang your hat on, if you're a Bama fan, then, and this would go more towards, I like the way that Paul Lincoln thinks, is that of all the draws you could get, Auburn, they are they got the UConn draw, and
it breaks my heart. It really does. It shatters me. Last night I could feel the pain in this state, and I could really feel the pain when those two frauds hug one another up in Nashville. That was, has there ever been a moment in time in one photo that you could embrace two people who, if you think about what they stand for?
The feeling they're going to have if they get to play UConn is similar to the first night that R. Kelly went to federal prison and realized what was in store for him.
I guess that's a wake-up call. Fair enough.
Yes. So glad you're back, and I'm hoping that that the Bama staff is looking at transfer portal for a power forward or center that can protect the rim in the same vein that Charles Bediako did, because we haven't been the same this year at all without him there.
Gotcha.
In the middle.
Hey, Greg, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Happy anniversary and roll tide.
Thank you. It's been a few days. We went on about an 8-day celebration, so a lot of fun. Let's continue. Let's go to Robert down in Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, man.
Robert. I left you in charge last week, okay? And what did you do? You go out and get the playoff expanded? Now, I knew you were a playoff expansion guy, but do we really need 14 teams?
Hello?
Robert, yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, with my phone switched over.
Yeah, you're fine. I said, do we really need 14 teams in the world of college athletics?
I would have gone with 14, but oh well. See, I know everybody, says bad teams will get in and they'll get bounced quick and blah, and there's all that. I don't care. Okay, they get in, they get bounced fast. It's still a better game than we would have gotten otherwise with the bowl game, with the bowls we got. Only thing we do is lose some bad bowl games that we definitely weren't interested in.
Fair enough. But I don't. Well, here's what clouds my judgment of 14 teams in the playoffs. Robert, we're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Because I hear the case that you're making, but that's not the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because we're broke in college athletics.
well, then that's not a wrong reason. If you need to make money, or making money is a good reason too.
But I think it also takes away from the value of the regular season too.
Yeah, well, I keep saying I heard Josh say that, and other people on your show say that. Football season, and we'll find out quick, because football season is just too short. If the season is over, how often we say you blink and the season's over, and then we're pining for it again. We got to wait months before it comes back around again. It's just so short. The regular season can't be taken away from because it's like a diamond. It's so rare. Diamonds are getting less rare now with these new man-made diamonds. But even at that, the price of diamonds is still pretty high because it's still not easy to get. And football season the same way. The season is so short, we'll still be wishing for it again. You can't take away a regular season in football. It's not long enough, especially when you compare it to other sports. I think it's almost the shortest season there is. So the regular season is not going to be impacted. It'll impact in the sense that I saw 2 losses shouldn't be the end of a great team season, especially with the SEC, especially where the SEC is becoming now. So I know Josh Payton always says, well, that's the beauty of college football. You can be one game and you're done. Is that really fair?
Yeah, but as you're saying that puts pressure on that regular season where you can't go out here and be a disaster and somehow backdoor your way in the college football playoffs.
If all the conferences were equally tough, I would agree with you.
Yeah, but that's not possible. I mean, it's never going to happen with 5 different directions or 4 different directions.
I know. Yeah, I know. That's why you can't put all this pressure on SEC teams when ACC teams don't have that kind of. It wasn't fair in the past, and Alabama suffered from it. How many seasons with championship? Nick Saban would at least have 2 more championships with this current system of college football. The kick 6 game. Could you imagine?
Well, okay, but you could take the argument there, but you could also take it and say, well, they could have lost more games too. So I hear what you're saying, but I mean, they could have also. You go out and you play an extra game or 2 extra games or whatever it may be.
No, because, not exactly because the SEC is tough.
Yeah, but I mean, injuries are still part of the game, though, Robert.
Yeah, but the SEC is tougher. The odds are the games that they play in the playoff game probably wouldn't have been as tough as the regular season game. I mean, to me, it's just a better system because, again, what do I lose? I lose because almost the same number of games going to get played. Well, among different teams. But I lose a bowl game and I just don't care. Give a rip about one, even an iota, or in that game. Okay, maybe it'll be Coastal Carolina and having a really good.
Robert, I think I lost you there, man.
I'm sorry, did I lose you?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
With Michigan, most likely when Michigan beat them, I still end up with a better game. Hey, well, one thing I want to know, though, is what you think about Nick Saban and his comments. I haven't had the chance to hear you talk about it.
Well, I'm a little bit mixed, to be honest with you. This is Nick Saban's biggest challenge. And I think he's going to find out in the real world of politics is a lot harder to navigate than to go into the SEC office, the spring meetings down in Sandestin and try to convince, a group of 13 other colleagues and now even more coaches to agree upon one thing, right? I think when you look at the political arena, I think that really is what happens with Washington, D.C. Everything slows down. I don't know if it's realistic. I appreciate Nick Saban for giving back to the game of college athletics. I know that it's authentic. I think that he loves the game of college football. I listened to the, hour and 40-minute Ted Cruz roundtable discussion, and I thought there were some great points made by both parties that were there. But when I listened to it, there's also a part of me that goes, you're climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. You're just not going to be able. The Supreme Court has already ruled.
Sure.
Now, we could probably get some antitrust laws or we can probably get some type of agreement, but you're asking college coaches who live in the gray area to walk a straight and narrow. I don't really know if the feasibility is there.
Yeah, and the biggest, in my opinion, again, the biggest problem has been the transfer portal. You can have NIL deals to the wazoo, but if you can't just up and leave whenever, as easily as they're doing right now, that nullifies, that equalizes everything in a hurry. But again, other people made good points too, that it's tough to tell the athletes they can't transfer as long as you let the coaches do it. That's been a sticking point in all of this. You let the coaches leave whenever they feel like it, but you hold the athletes. And therein lies that problem. I don't know how you fix that.
There we go.
Right,
hey,
man.
Robert, thank you, man. Appreciate you, and we always enjoy the chats. Hey, did you approve for last week? I mean, was it okay with you?
Oh, what's that?
The show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was working on my kitchen. In fact, I pretty much gutted and remodeling my kitchen, so I didn't listen near as much.
Look at you. I mean, being a productive member of society during spring break. He remodeled his kitchen. That's a challenge,
still
Robert.
doing it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And was that a request? Was that a request by the better half, Robert? Was that?
Well, let's just say it needed to be done.
Okay. Yeah, because I hear that discussion at the Fowler household also often too. We've got to do some countertop upgrades and cabinets and this, that, and the other. And
yep.
Yeah. So, but hey, just remember now, whatever you invest in the kitchen and the bath, you get $1.50 back for every dollar you spend. So you didn't lose money last week, even though it felt like it.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you, man. We'll come back. We'll go back to another Robert. We'll also get Jared in Dallas. And then we've got Barrett Sallee, Tony's new best friend, coming up at 3:30 right here on The Game. T-Town Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
After 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett was traded by the team to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. Pickett introduced today as a member of the Eagles.
I'm excited to be here. It worked out so well that Philly was the place I ended up landing in. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Pickett grew up as an Eagles fan. Former Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch announced his retirement after 6 seasons. Cowboys released him last week after his career has been plagued by neck injuries. Former Packers tackle David Bakhtiari will try to play in 2024 with another team. That's according to the NFL Network. And the MMQB.com says Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy will have a private workout with the Minnesota Vikings next week. Duquesne men's basketball coach Keith Dambrot announced he will retire after the NCAA tournament.
Plus, the Egg Hunt Zones will kick off at 3. For more details, follow our Facebook page and find us at Northport Bunny Trail.
Pastor's Kitchen Mexican food right there in Northport. If you're looking for the great specials daily, the fajitas are outstanding. The Pastor's dip, the appetizers, the fried ice cream, always a great option. It is Pastor's Kitchen Mexican food. Also find the food truck, and we are also now serving breakfast at
Quote today and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, and find inner peace with a different pose called Palms on Handlebars. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday. The high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 57 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Everything.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership, David DeSantis. If you're looking for a Camry, Corolla, how about a Tundra, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive? How about a 4Runner, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive? Or how about a Tacoma? You'll find those. The inventory is online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. You can also view the incoming inventory there at the great dealership, Tuscaloosa Toyota. Let's continue with more phone calls. We're asking you, in your opinion, how far can Alabama go? What would be the bar that you're looking at when you look at going to Spokane, Washington. And we definitely want to let those Auburn people cry on our shoulder. We're here for you. We know that you're hurting, and that's okay. That's okay. That's what big brothers are supposed to do. We let you guys, and I at some point I want Paul to be the bigger man and call in and let these Auburn people really whine on his shoulder. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's go to Robert. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, brother. How are you?
Hey, Robert in Brookwood. How are you, man?
Doing good.
Is this vacation week for you? Off? Is this vacation week for you?
No, sir, not for me.
Oh, okay. This is early for you. That's.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just happened to get off a little earlier today for once. So
okay.
I called.
Okay. Well, thank you, Robert. What's on your mind, my friend?
You did good. It was good last week. Your caller there who was from North Alabama a while ago. Who was that?
Oh, Greg.
Greg. We like you, Greg, but everybody's different. Everybody can't be right. The ones that handle the show, everybody that handled the show has their own personality, and I thought they did a great job.
I did too. I was listening, and I appreciate those guys.
You don't have to listen if you don't like it, so, just everybody's different.
So what did you like about it, Robert?
Well, I didn't get to listen every day, but they brought, Tony, as usual, always brought a lot of knowledge of Alabama to the sport, or of the sports of Alabama to the show, and they cut up a little bit and had fun. It was a fun week for them.
Yeah.
So, I liked it.
And the top of my prep sheet every day, there's two things that I write on the top of my prep sheet. Have fun. I try to check that box every day. And then my second one is tease well. Tease for the upcoming segment. Tease, because that's what in radio, teases are important. Hey, we got Barrett Salid. That's Tony's best friend coming up at 3:30.
Yeah, that went good last Monday.
Did you see the way that they embraced one another? You mustn't.
What was you meaning by that? The way two was hugging last week, was that Bruce Pearl and something? What? I didn't understand what you're saying.
Well, no, I saw yesterday. At the SEC championship game, that in one photo it was Bruce Pearl and Hugh Freeze embracing one another, and I'm thinking about. Has there ever been a bigger corruption in college athletics in one photo?
Okay, I didn't see the end of the game. I didn't know.
We're talking about two guys who do it their own way, right? They don't care about rules. I'm not trying to be down. They won the SEC title. Congrats to them.
Ryan, let me ask you something. If the new SEC format, and we're tied with Auburn at 6-1, and say we need Auburn to beat Georgia for us to make the SEC championship game. You see what I'm saying? There are some scenarios that Alabama has to root for Auburn. It doesn't happen much because they don't do it, but you see what I'm saying? Whether it's in basketball and baseball. I remember several years ago we needed to make the SEC tournament. We needed Auburn to win 2 out of 3 against, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was LSU, and Auburn did it. And Alabama got into the SEC tournament. So there are some scenarios that, if we're going to get what we want, you might have to root for Auburn.
Well, I do like what Tony and Brett said last week. Let's just embrace the SAUCK. Because, maybe that's as close as Hugh Freeze will ever get to winning an SEC title. Maybe he wanted to be there when, you see him cut down the nets. Because I don't know if when you look at Hugh Freeze, do you see it in the near future that he could accomplish that?
I don't know. He had a good recruiting year. There are rumors out there that he's coming after an Alabama quarterback after spring training. You heard that?
I just heard it from Brett. I haven't heard it from anybody else. I think it was just as a guess. When you look at this NIL and you look at this transfer portal and you look at the NCAA backing off of the parameters and saying we're not going to have any new investigations or we're not going to continue any other based on the collective. Robert, I'm not sure we're ready for this NIL transfer portal window that opens up following spring practice.
Well, is that not what Coach Saban is trying to get his point across about?
Yeah, I think it is. But is it reasonable to accomplish that he can actually accomplish this? We can scream at politicians all we want. Do they really?
Well, it would help if he'd get involved in the NCAA somehow, become president.
But I think the NCAA is too far gone.
Not for Nick Saban. If anybody could save it and bring it back, it'd be him.
And you know what, Robert?
He's retired or not, he's the most he's the most powerful voice in college football, whether he's coaching Alabama or not. You agree or disagree?
He is, no doubt. When his voice echoes, when he talks, people listen.
Jimbo Fish and all those might not like him, but by God, they listen to him. And Kirby, Kirby, I got to give him credit. He's been with Nick with all these opinions.
He's been step
over the last 2 years.
Step in step with the
He
NIL
sure has.
transfer.
Now you have to give Kirby credit on that.
They have been. No, I think when you take a look at this system, yeah, Nick Saban's probably the only one, but I'm not giving him a bigger chance here because I think we've already let this genie out of the bottle. It's I know we always use that verbiage, but it's a lot to put back in. I mean, are you now going to go to these players that are promised? I mean, because see, the thing is, you have players that are showing up on campus, not at Alabama, but maybe at Alabama. There may be some partnerships, some collectives, but you got future promises that these colleges have to depend on, big ones. So now are you going to go back to these players and say, hey, we're just kidding. We're just kidding. We're not really going to pay you that money.
Well, he's right about a limit. Everybody don't need to make an astronomical.
I think he's spot on. I think he's spot on.
Make a limit, and then it don't matter if you don't like it. Go somewhere else. You're not going to go beyond that limit because they got the same limit we got. Everybody has the same limit. So you see what I'm saying? How's it? Well, I'm going to try. Well, go ahead. Where you go to LSU. Go to somewhere else. You're going to get the same amount of money because that's the top. That's how you can go.
Well, and I do agree that college athletics has changed right here in front of our eyes. I mean, I don't think we've went through a 4-year period, 3-year period that we've had this much change.
Well, what's the criteria to be president or leader of the NCAA?
I don't know. Be corrupt more than the next guy?
I was just wondering how you get that, because the guy that was the athletic director at LSU, and when he hired Nick Saban, what was his name?
Mark Emmert.
Mark Emmert. I'm thinking, he went from athletic director to leader of the NCAA, so there's got to be some kind of criteria.
Well, and I think when you think about, that hire, when you think about, that moment, wow. I mean, Mark Emmert, if you want to put his credentials out there, I was the guy that allowed the NCAA to fade this fast. I mean, that really is what he's known for. I mean,
it could be Nick Saban or Greg Byrne. Our very own Greg Byrne would make a great president for the NCAA.
Well, I don't know if I want to sacrifice Alabama for the betterment of the NCAA.
Well, that wouldn't be our choice. That'd be his.
True, but I mean, I think Greg Byrne's set to.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes, he has. He's great. He's done some great hires. I said last year for baseball. I want to put a shout out to baseball. Anytime you can open the season beating Tennessee in anything, but this is a really good Tennessee program.
Yeah, number 5 in one poll and number 6 in the other, winning 2 out of 3.
They got an arrogant coach, and he's a punk, but they're a really good program. Their team kind of follows after their coach with their attitude. So, but it was a great opening series for Alabama, and I think there's big things ahead for once he really starts getting his recruits in and all that for Alabama baseball in the future. I think within 2 or 3 years. And maybe this year you're going to start seeing Alabama make some World Series appearances.
Fair enough.
And before I go, can I get a 1-minute rant in? I know it ain't Friday, but I got to get this in because I might not be able to call.
We can do a Monday attack presented by Brian Harden Construction.
For 5 years. If you are satisfied with Murphy just going to regionals and just being good, then Alabama, you keep him. But if you want to go to the next level, it's time for him to go. He will not recruit hitters. He ran Montana down in the dirt just pitching her to death. This ain't 2011 when you can win 1-0 games. Offense has hit college softball. He will not recruit good hitters. Other teams, 1 through 9, have decent hitters. There's no excuse for starting off 2 and 4. That just shows you the program's falling down. They're going off, running off and leave. You will let baseball get like that for the longest. It's starting to finally come back. Murphy's got to go. If you want to go to the next level, he's got to go. He's got instilling his ideas. We appreciate what he's done. He brought influence to the program. He even won us 1 national championship. But you got to admit this, Ryan. There ought to be more national championships in softball at Alabama.
Well, I mean, you look at the SEC. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Yeah, I mean, it's not the standard. I mean,
I don't mean to sugarcoat it. We're slowly each year getting worse and worse.
It's the expectation that he created. So it's almost, it's kind of like Nick Saban. Winning a national title is, if you don't reach that, then it's failure.
But Nick managed to reach it 6 times here at Alabama. Murph, I don't see another one coming because the program's gradually falling off a little bit each year. And once again, if this is what you want, then I'm just meaning you, but Alabama, what you want, just good program. But I think we can get to be great. A lot of teams are running off, leaving us. Need some fresh ideas. I just think it's time to go.
And there's probably a lot of people that are in your camp.
I love Tommy, and I need to call him, make sure he ain't going to kill me for saying that.
He's on his way to Brookwood right now.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thanks. Hey, Robert, why'd you chicken out last week?
What's that?
I mean, I heard that you guys were like the main card, and the main card did a no-show.
Oh, I didn't call Thursday. I only got to call one day last week. That was Tuesday, and Jimbo had called ahead of me or something, but I missed out.
Well,
it was all got on work schedule.
Yeah, I had Jimbo and Butterball, and we sold pay-per-views. We had big stage set up, and
well, it'll be a rematch. I had an injury and I couldn't show up.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, well, that's a good excuse. As long as that's in the contract. Thanks, Robert.
Brother, have a good one.
Right back to you. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll go to Jared in Dallas, Texas. Mike as well. We'll talk to Barrett Sallee coming up 3:30 right here on The Game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
A freeze warning is in effect for all of West Alabama tonight through tomorrow morning. Temperatures are expected in the 20s north of Tuscaloosa and at or just below freezing to the south. East Tuscaloosa residents will rally at 5 this afternoon at the 4-decade-old pedestrian bridge over Veterans Memorial Parkway in an effort to save it from the wrecking ball. The Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office awaiting word from West Alabama Republican Congressman Robert Adderholt's request for $450,000 from the federal government to renovate and expand the agency's
service at Northport Auto Supply. Locally owned and operated with the largest inventory in the area. It's Northport Auto Supply.
Why go anywhere else?
Northport Power Equipment, if you're looking for chainsaw needs, if you're cleaning up those leaves or yard debris, you'll find the backpack blowers, the battery-operated tools, the Echo Outdoor Power Equipment, Crest Outdoor Power Equipment, the battery-operated tools by Husqvarna, and you'll also find great inventory on the zero-turn commercial and the residential mowers by both Skag and Husqvarna. Service Department.
Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Used to spend my nights out in ballroom.
Noah's had a Chris Stapleton type feeling on a Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that guy. He lives down on he's got a place down in Lower Alabama, Chris Stapleton, down on the Alabama Gulf Coast. By the way, it's beautiful down there. It's a great time to go. A lot of spring breakers, a lot of party animals, a lot of, never mind. I'm just going to skip over. I saw a lot of Enemy fans. I saw a lot of Tennessee fans. I didn't see many Auburn folks. Maybe they were in Nashville embracing winning. Maybe that was an option. Let's go to Jared in Dallas. Jared, I hope all is well, man. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Ryan. How are you, man?
I'm good. I feel like there's something coming here, Jared. I mean, were you happy with last week? I mean, I've put...
Hey, let me tell you, man. Last week was radio gold.
I thought it was, too.
It really was. Oh, it was so awesome. But here's the deal. Here's the way I would describe it.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome. And I even called in one day, and I called in to Tony and Brett, and I said, guys, I don't really even have much to say. I just wanted to be able to say I called in.
I made a contribution, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. But I would probably describe it like this: it was like a really good vacation. You had a lot of fun, but by the last day, you're ready to go home. That's about the best. That's about the best way to describe it. By the last day, you're just ready to go home and get things back together.
Well,
I do think, man,
to quite a bit of it throughout the week. And I got, like I said, my big takeaway was how Barrett and Tony just got on the same page. And so maybe if we did one thing, it was the unification of Barrett Sallee and Tony from Tuscaloosa, because, they've went at it privately on this show for many years. And now to see these guys embrace one another is, it just warms my heart.
Well, that was a reckoning that needed to happen. So that was really good stuff there. There was a couple of those. Actually, after Tommy finished undressing Bama Nick in that little throwdown,
I've still not heard that part. I've not heard that one. That was the one I got to catch up on. I mean, was it that bad?
Oh man, it was pretty good. And Corey described that in probably the week the best. Right after that call, he called in and they asked him what he thought. And he said that was epic. And they said, yeah. And he said, it was like a bludgeoning to the face. And that sums it up perfectly. Probably the whole week, a bludgeoning to the face.
So
I hope Noah marked that too. That was quote of the week.
Noah, do you have a recording of Tommy taking Bama Nick to the woodshed? Okay. Well, at some point, I may have to listen to that during the break if we can't go back over it. But wow, so Tommy and Romulus.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, he unloaded. He unloaded on him pretty good. It was, and of course, Tony and Brett were egging it on pretty good too. Okay. It was good stuff, Brian. It was. Okay. The whole week was a lot of fun. Hey, I was going to tell you too. You might see if you can get Daniel Moore to do a painting of Hugh Freeze and Bruce.
Yeah, what would we call it?
Here's what we call it: Auburn family. But family would be in quotes. Just Auburn family, right there. That would describe it perfectly.
Well, I almost think that we go back to Brett and Tony. Embrace the SAUCK.
Yeah, that would be good too.
I mean, it would be Hugh and Brett. But I saw it, and there's very few photos that I look at it. It'd be like, Bill Clinton and, I don't know, Barack Obama embracing one another.
Yeah.
But when you see Hugh Freeze and you see Bruce Pearl, it is it's a sight. I mean, the way, and maybe that's as close as Hugh Freeze will ever become. I mean, because really, if you look at Auburn, and that was what yesterday was about, it's the state media lies to the Auburn family, right? The state media in this state lie to the Auburn Tigers. And really, they do them injustice because they tell them that they're on the same level as these other bigger schools. And then when they get punched in the face like they did yesterday by the NCAA selection committee, it's like, hold on, you guys told us that we have a seat at the table. Auburn doesn't have the status that the state media pretends in this state that they have. I mean, if you watch the state media in our state, they almost split it down the line 50-50. It's no more 50-50 than I live in North River.
Uh-huh.
It's closer to 70-30 than it is 50-50. But the state media, we cater to them. We roll out the red carpet. We tell them that they're important. And days like yesterday, it's a confirmation that they're not the status that we have made them out to be.
Yeah. Why is that for us outsiders? Is it an economic thing?
I think
Why
it's...
do that?
Well, I think because they've got several organizations that 20 years ago went after the media, attacked the media, scared a lot of the media. It was Never to Yield Foundation. They went after people who covered Auburn in a fair way. Auburn does things different. I mean, and really, we were talking about a quarterback and, whether they would look at the rules and say, well, we're above the rules. I mean, isn't that what Auburn's done for many years? I mean, haven't they always kind of bypassed the NCAA and said, we're going to do it our way? Ever since I've been in this media business, we have.
Absolutely. Ever since I was a little kid in the early 80s, hanging around T-Town with Ray Perkins, they have.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, they've always said, you know what? We don't care. We don't care. Oh, you want to give us sanctions? Perfect. Okay, no problem. And I think that's what really has brought Auburn back down to ground earth, too. Because their strength has always been that they didn't care. Now, with everybody paying them, is Auburn now able to separate themselves? I think that answer is no. Everybody's doing it.
No. Yeah. It's going to hurt them more than most.
Because that separation factor that they used to have, it's no longer there.
Yep. I agree.
Jared, how far can this team go?
Well, man, I would be pleasantly surprised if they made it to the Sweet 16. They could make it there if they get hot shooting the ball. I got some hot opinions about that would probably have a lot of people really mad at me, but we're never going to make steady deep runs until we can generate a half-court offense of some sort. And I was watching UConn last night and teams like that. Golly, they're just such a machine, and they can get a bucket when they need a bucket no matter what. We've got to be able to do that. But if we get hot shooting, we could make it to the Sweet 16. Absolutely.
And so would you set the Sweet 16 as the bar?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. Because we're kind of like the team. I mean, first of all, it's a magnificent achievement to be where we are this year with what we lost. I didn't think we'd get to this point, to be honest. But it's also like watching a professional golfer who can only hit a fade and he can't hit a draw. He can't work it both ways. And if the one way isn't working right, he's in deep trouble. And that's what happens to us. We get in situations where if the one system we have isn't clicking, man, we get in deep trouble. And it's happened to us a couple times in a row. But if we're hot, we can beat anybody.
Yeah, I did think Nate had some good explanations with some of the limitations on the minutes last night in the Zoom call. I thought he explained some of the things, talking about healthy, that this is probably the healthy that when they get to Spokane and play Charleston, that it will be even going back to Texas A&M game, that they've been able to have their full allotment of minutes. So I think he's.
I didn't see that.
Well, he just spoke on a Zoom call. I don't think it was there, but we may try to dive into it. I thought he really said some good things and great reminders about where Alabama basketball was at and where they're at now.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time in the history of their program that they went top 4 seed or higher in back-to-back NCAA tournaments, that within itself is because just a few years ago we were praying to be on the bubble, right? Please be one of the last 4 in. Please be one of the last 4 in. Oh, never mind. We're the last 4 out or the first 4 out. So
I didn't expect it to be a 4 seed. Did you think we'd be a 4 seed?
I just kept reading.
I did.
ESPN bracketology expert Joe Lunardi, and he had 4 consistently there. I don't think I ever saw another number for Alabama for him. And I like Jerry Palm at CBS too. I like him as far as a bracketologist too. And I don't remember seeing him beyond 4 either. So that was pretty much where Alabama was at. Hey Jared, I got to get to Barrett, man. I appreciate you as always.
Yeah, man.
Poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
A huge part of the game is SEC Parlay Pick Day on Friday. It's made possible by Brian Harden Construction, a diverse business, crane and equipment rentals up to 320-ton cranes available, the CNC machines, reverse engineering, laser cutting, specialists in modern construction. It's bhardenconst.com. Experience you can count on. Let's build something together. The website, very informative. It is bhardenconst.com. Brian Harden Construction, industrial contractors and fabrication, I-beam installation, Brian Harden Construction. Every Friday made possible by Brian Harden Construction.
The best sports talk show in all of Alabama. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
They last like strawberry
you're telling me during the break that I owe Barrett an apology? Is that what you're saying? Is that
you might need to give him one.
Okay. On behalf of all of us here at Tide 100.9, The Game, we owe Barrett an apology. I hope Barrett didn't take it. I mean, we went 2 for 2 on guest this week so far. We haven't been able to push anybody away. I was actually shocked that Barrett answered the phone. But college football smothered and covered. You can find him on SiriusXM Channel 84 Outkick. He's a columnist there. Barrett, I'm glad you answered the phone. I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
You don't need to apologize for anything, Ryan. You can say whatever you want to me, and I know either you are an idiot for saying it or you don't really mean it.
So was last week off the charts? I mean, did it catch you unexpectedly?
I mean, I get called Booger Barrett all the time. I get, razzed for all this stuff about Auburn and me going there. And look, I'll say this. First of all, good Dina Carter song coming in for break. Second of all, look, I've always said this. If you call somebody a homer or say they're biased, it's just the calling card of the weak. The weak-minded individual that have
I don't know anything about being biased. I'm just completely unbiased. But to be honest, I've always told people, when you look at people that say that, because we study this in statistics, that unbiased is just it's just a phrase. There is none.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm more transparent with the audience that I am biased. So I want them knowing, that I share my opinion based on a biased opinion.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, too. Like, if you get called biased against everybody, that means you're doing your job right in this industry. And look, I'll flat out tell the Alabama audience, like, yeah, I want Auburn to win because I want to be happy in my house. And it's not because of me. It's because everybody else here is an Auburn fan. So if they're miserable, then I'm miserable, right? But in terms of our jobs, like, it's pretty crazy to me for anybody to think that I would do my job in the hopes that there's one specific outcome or the other, especially if my job depends on me not caring, right? So if I want Auburn to win because there's a diploma on the wall, and that becomes in direct competition with me doing my job and receiving a paycheck, that's insane. Why would I care about a team winning when my livelihood is at stake, right? If I'm paid to be unbiased, then I'm much more loyal to that paycheck than the diploma on the wall. So when it comes to doing our jobs, that's one thing. When it comes to living our life, hell yeah, I want Auburn to win because I don't want to be in a miserable household. But I'm not going to let that affect my job because my paycheck's more important.
So Barrett, when you look back at last week, there's so many different things but there is one thing that I want to go back to, because when you look at the Vegas total and when I think Brett or Tony asked you about the win total for Auburn, your response was, I mean, I'm driving it down at the beach. I think we're coming back from maybe a little, late lunch, and I'm going, do you really feel that way? I mean, because I think you said 6 wins. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it was 6.5, I think is the number right now.
Right.
I couldn't, it might have changed or whatever, but I mean, yeah, that's 6 wins. Where are they coming from? Right. I mean, you have, I think there are some pretty easy ones on there. And look, I know New Mexico State happened. New Mexico State was good last year, but Alabama A&M, Cal, I'm looking at right now, Cal, New Mexico, those are wins. Vanderbilt's a win. La Monroe's a win. So there's 5, right? Are you counting on Auburn to win? Okay, Arkansas might be 6. Like, there are some games in there that Auburn should win, but we've seen them lose. There's some toss-ups there. But if Auburn's going to break that number, it's going to have to avoid the letdown, which obviously is easier said than done, and win pretty much every toss-up. And could they do that? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If it's 6.5, if it's my money, I'm not betting that one way or the other. If I had to pick, I might go under because, again, and I said this last week, Hugh Freeze is way too married to Peyton Thorne.
Well, and that was the home run that I'm sitting here listening to, because it's a great reminder. It's can he really get you to where you want to be? And I think that answer is no.
Well, but here's the thing too. He's kind of come on. He said he was kind of on board with Peyton Thorne, like right after, the national signing day, the early signing period, things like that. But he's sort of come off that stance a little bit, so. It makes me think, okay, what happens in the portal window in the spring? Because I think the portal window is going to be much bigger in the spring from a quarterback perspective than it was last year. I mean, Alabama, I think, misjudged that last year.
I do as well.
And they ended up with Buckner, and Auburn ended up with Peyton Thorne. I think Auburn misjudged it too. I think it'll be a little bit more active, but so we'll see what Auburn does there. And here's the thing. And this is what you have to put it in context, right? If Hugh Freeze was not successful with Peyton Thorne, that's a huge indictment of Thorne and Freeze, because Freeze he developed Bo Wallace and Chad Kelly and Malik Willis into college freaks, right? Not NFL. I don't care what they did in the NFL. Like, they were college freaks. And he can't do that with Peyton Thorne? I mean, that's a pretty big indictment of Thorne specifically.
So when you look at this SEC, Baron, I also want to dive into this 14-team playoff, because here we are. I mean, we didn't even get year number 1 in this 12 team, and now we've already moved beyond that, and we're going to 14. Just your overall reaction.
That the administrators, the money makers, the decision makers hate you. They hate me. They hate the fans. And the fact that they can't go even to 12 before moving to 14 shows that it's not about everybody else having a chance. It's about elbowing everybody else out. And the thing is this, like, the words that we don't hear from any of these people anymore are worth excellent in terms of settling it on the field. You hear revenue, you hear access, and you hear governance. You get revenue from access, which gives you power. And so this idea, it's a giant rug pull, right? Like, I'm big into crypto, and a lot of these crypto coins are rug pulls. They get you excited about something and pull the rug out from under your feet. Anybody that thought there was any interest in settling it on the field is a victim of a rug pull right now, because they don't care who wins the national championship. Like, they really don't. And it's at the expense of the sport. It's at the expense of some of the things that made the sport great, and it's an attempt to make it look like the NFL. And I don't like the NFL. And even if I did like the NFL, the difference between the two games, the two sports, are massive, and both can be good. And they're taking the good away from college football at the expense of trying to make extra money. And it sucks, man. It really sucks.
I just don't like the way that we got here. It's almost saying, well, it's not that we need it. It's just we need it financially. And I get it. I mean, I understand college athletics is based.
But they don't even need it financially. They don't. It's a money grab. And look, everything is. I get it. But I mean, at some point, you have to recognize that the value exists because of something or some things. And if you chip away at what makes it great, then you're ruining it.
Barry, I want to also go to Nick Saban. Now you're talking about me getting on the bad side of the audience. I'm about to do that. No, I mean I'm full in. I told someone today this at lunch. The more I hear Nick Saban talk, I understand what he's talking about, this NIL, but there's a part of me that just almost, it's like an excuse. He built this standard up that he almost settled where the fans are. National title or bust. And if you don't get there, I got to come up with all the reasons why we didn't get there. That's what I'm hearing from Nick Saban. Am I wrong?
Yeah, to an extent. Like, okay. I understand him. Like, I understand that mindset because, yeah, he is. I mean,
he's a perfectionist.
Running.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. And I think the idea that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong with what you said. Are you kind of saying he's stuck in his tail and running because he can't do it anymore?
Well, no, in kind of a way, but I'm almost, it's like he's got to justify why they didn't win a national title in the last 3 years. And it's almost like, okay, hey, listen, this is why we didn't accomplish it. I know that his heart's in the right place from the NIL transfer portal, but it's almost like Nick Saban's smart enough to understand that he's not going to get anything in Washington, D.C. Surely he knows that. The momentum, yeah. I mean, his voice would be the only one that could fix it, but it is climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops. It's not going to happen. I mean,
it's not. It's not. And I think he's smart enough to know that. And is there some selfishness in terms of, saying these things to sort of make the whole world realize that, he wasn't into it and he didn't want to deal with this crap anymore? Yeah. I mean, maybe. I personally think that's probably a secondary sort of reasoning behind it, because I do think he cares about the sport. But to me, it was more like this. It was him doing what he always does in terms of off the field administrative, topics, but he's unable to fix it on the field because he's not a coach anymore, right? Like I looked at it this way. I remember back in the day when, he was lobbying for then a +1 system and still winning a national championship in the BCS era, winning national championships in the BCS era. He's having his cake and he wants it to look one way, but taking advantage of what reality is. Same thing with the hurry-up offense deal with the 10-second rule. He hated it. He lobbied against hurry-up offenses while he was building one. I think right now, he's lobbying against all of these things that are, sort of out of control. And would he fight the fight and win it and do it at an elite level if he was still coaching? Yeah. But he's at the point where he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And to me, that's fine. I think if he's 10 years younger, he'd be doing this and excelling and taking advantage of the rules as much as he possibly can, even though he probably didn't like it.
Kalen DeBoer's new contract is coming down via a couple of different outlets here. I'll quote the first one that I saw. I'm not saying it's exactly this, but Nick Kelly is the first one I saw. New contract details for Kalen DeBoer. $10 million will be his first year. $10 million. That is a jump from 4.2 last year at UW, which ranked 44th. So that's a pretty good pay raise. That's having a good day right there. Hey, that is staying in front of inflation, Barrett. That right there is staying in front of inflation. When you can go from a 4.2 to a 10.
Good Lord. I mean, inflation's bad, but not for him. He's still gonna have to pay $11 zillion for milk, but
No,
he can handle it.
I mean, he will. But can you imagine the tax bill on $10 million in his first year? Because that would throw you into that 39.5% bracket. So that's always the thing about athletes. When you see the contract, you can almost trim it in half, and that's just the federal. And then you got to.
It's going to be what, 11? I'm just going to 11.75 million by the end.
Yeah, 11.75 million will be the final. It's an 8-year deal.
I mean, I know you're a rich man if you're a college coach at Washington. I know that's a big deal, but I would imagine like at $11.75 million, your tax bill you're still going to look at and it'll be like a gut punch. The same reaction that all of us have, just at a different level.
And Nate Oates has received a buyout as well. He will become the highest buyout in the right now in college basketball. His buyout will be $18 million if he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
His salary is going to be right around $5 million, and will become one of the top 3 basketball coaches in the country. Top 5.
Would you be surprised if 2 of the top 5 paid basketball coaches in the country reside in the state of Alabama by the time they tip off next year?
What if you told me that 5 years ago?
I'd have committed you to an insane asylum. But I guarantee you it's happening because if you have a vacancy, right? If you're Louisville or whoever before Ohio State got filled, who are the first 2 calls you make? Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates. And you make them tell 5 times each. So Nate Oates got paid. I guarantee you Bruce is going to get paid too. I mean, it's crazy to think that, and I fully expect it to be the case, that two of the top 5 highest paid coaches in college basketball reside in the state of Alabama this year.
But we're broke. I mean, but that's the market. I mean, if you either stay in the market, and I hear, because I got into a discussion with a media friend of mine yesterday, and he's like, the first thing Greg Byrne goes to Washington, D.C., and he talks about, the Title IX sports and trimming and all this, and I'm going, he said, but they don't have any problem paying here. I said, we got to pay the market. I mean, could you imagine if Alabama would have come out and said, okay, guys, we're going to pay $5 million for this contract. We're going to pay half what we did Nick Saban. Could you imagine trying to find someone that would be willing to follow Nick Saban for that? I mean, at least you compensate him in a way that, okay, hey, if it didn't work out, then you got a ton of cash.
Well, that's the thing, is like the market dictates, the market drives. Every time when we moved over the $5 million mark, like I think it was Nick that was the first $5 million man, right? It just went flying after that. I mean, it's unbelievable how quickly things moved. And I think now, when you see a $5 million contract, you're like, really? That's kind of low, right? I mean, I think that's how things operate these days. And, I think that it's fine for the sport. I'm fine that kind of money gets put into it. And it goes back to, I think it was last year, Gus Malzahn got a massive raise at UCF. And it was really after a kind of a black season. But you put it in context, like, that's middle of the road in the Big 12. Like, I think it was $4.5 million. Like, you have to pay what the market is.
And that's what drives the value. Kalen DeBoer will be the 4th highest paid college football coach in the country. Number 4.
At $10 million.
At $10 million. So we got in the wrong business, Barrett Sallee. Tell me about Outkick, man. Happy for you.
Yeah, it's in addition to doing my podcast, doing writing some stuff for Outkick. We don't know how often it'll be, but there'll be multiple times per week on Outkick. So excited to do some writing about college football there, and who knows, there might be some more audio and written content that you might be able to find in other places that might be announced late this week or next week as well. Hey. So stay busy. Maybe not all college football too.
And if you want a link to Outkick, you go to foxnews.com. At the top of the page, Outkick's right there. Did you know that, Barry?
Yeah, I absolutely did know that.
And the only reason I know that is the other day that I went to watch Nick Saban on the name escapes me. Brett Baer, is that the way you say it? Special report. I think I may have the name wrong, but Nick Saban did that 15-minute interview from a palm tree in the back of the grade. I'm like, he's in Florida. But
yeah, sounds about good. Sounds about right.
I was looking for the Nick Saban search, and I go, oh, there's Outkick right there, and I forgot that affiliation exists. So Fox News.
Yeah, and you can also check out current inflation rates there too.
You can. And you can read very unbiased reporting as well there. I read it all the time. It's funny how we circled right back to that conversation. Hey, Barrett, have a great rest of your week, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan. See you.
Thank you. SiriusXM Channel 84, SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Outkick. You can find it right there. Barrett got a start. I featured Barrett prior to his start with CBS. But you know who else got their start at Outkick? Aaron Torres. Aaron Torres was an Outkick guy for a number of years. That's how I met Aaron Torres, is through Outkick, because there was a lady that was writing for them that was an Alabama grad who did some work with our radio station who connected me with Torres. And that's how we got Torres on. But Torres was an Outkick writer for all of those years. Him and Clay Travis go way, 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 way back. Clay was even taken up for Auburn yesterday on the social network side of things. Noah, I see you're back down to the norm. They brought you cheeseburgers last week. I guess I forgot lunch today. You're back to the macaroni and cheese.
That's right.
So how many times did Brett bring you a meal last week? Was it
twice? Twice, I think.
Okay, and then you had Nukes, which is pretty solid pizza. And I heard you guys reviewing multiple different options there. But all right, so we got a contract with Nate Oates, $18 million. That is now the highest buyout in the country. That's your dedication, and Nate Oates deserves it. Yeah, you may look at the SEC and you look at one game, or you look at a couple of games, or you look at the back end of this season, but you think about where he took over this program and where it is now.
At Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
TuscaloosaToyota.com, a huge part of our show. We are powered by those guys every single day. The service department, always great. The new inventory side, all those new Toyotas comes with that lifetime powertrain warranty. And right now, we have the most inventory that we've had in over 2.5 years. Camrys, Corollas, RAV4s, Highlanders, 4Runners, Tundras, Tacomas, also the pre-owned inventory. Most of the pre-owned inventory comes with that same lifetime powertrain warranty. See all of the inventory. TuscaloosaToyota.com and Tuscaloosa Toyota on Skyland Boulevard. You know, we talk about grilling so often. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, go visit our friends at Mark's Mark in downtown Northport. I walk in there all the time. There's new things added, whether you're trying to amp up the spice cabinet or whether you're going in for a great ribeye, a salmon swirl, a chicken swirl, that's what they're home of since 1978. The seafood entrees, the great cheesecake, the great pies that are made here locally in Alabama, the Blue Spring Living Water. You'll find it at Mark's Mark in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge. Go see the friendly folks at Mark's Mark, downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama Credit Union. Feel good about your money. AlabamaCU.com. The mobile app makes banking so much more convenient. All the mobile deposits, many times you don't even have to go into the bank to manage your money, whether we're talking about checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle. And remember, Roll Tide, show your pride with the official credit card of the University of Alabama Alumni Association. AlabamaCU.com. Alabama Credit Union with great branches all over West Alabama and throughout the state of Alabama. Alabama Credit Union. Rumsey Environmental, serving the sound of my voice with waste removal services, portable toilet services, construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site. Maybe it's remodeling. Maybe it's the storage containers. We did this about a year ago, moved all of our furniture into a storage container, brought out the construction debris removal containers. They customized to fit your job site. When you talk about when you have to know it's being done right, that's the time to call Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, 205-248-0002. Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Beyer.
After 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett was traded by the team to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. Pickett introduced today as a member of the Eagles.
I'm excited to be here. It worked out so well that Philly was the place I ended up landing in. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Pickett grew up as an Eagles fan. Former Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch announced his retirement after 6 seasons. Cowboys released him last week after his career has been plagued by neck injuries. Former Packers tackle David Bakhtiari will try to play in 2024 with another team. That's according to the NFL Network. And the MMQB.com says Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy will have a private workout with the Minnesota Vikings next week. Duquesne men's basketball coach Keith Dambrot announced he will retire after the NCAA tournament. Dukes face BYU in the first round on Thursday in Omaha. In the NBA, the Celtics listed Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as questionable for tonight's game against the Pistons.
Singing
205-342-9904. Kalen DeBoer getting the contract extension, or the new contract, not a contract extension. He was 4.2 at UW. Now he's going to make right at $10 million. It will be an 8-year deal. Don't know exactly the buyout, but we're just now getting little trickles here when you think about it. We're going to take your phone calls. We'll also talk with Martin Hughes a little bit later. Nate Oates also getting a contract extension. Now will become one of the highest buyouts in all of college basketball. He'll be a top 5 paid coach, and the contract will run through 2030 there. Also, I saw Michael Casagrande a couple of minutes ago that he put that Kane Womack, which we featured a couple of weeks ago, will now make $1.55 at University of South Alabama. He was around 800 and something thousand. I think I saw that just a couple of minutes ago. So we're now getting the official contract. It is now official, and this is all, a lot of this is procedure, right? I mean, there's no way they walk into that meeting and say, well, this is what we're going to discuss. A lot of these have preliminary agreements, and I think they call it MOAs or MOIs. And it's about a contract, and you agree to it, and then there's a formal contract, and it goes through the Board of Trustees. So that is the conversation when you think about it here. So $10 million is where he'll start, and that will make right now currently the 4th highest paid salary in all of college football. We'll take your phone calls. We'll go 205-342-9904. 2 hours in, Barrett Sallee was our big takeaway, and Barrett was a good sport, man. Barrett was solid there. Don't you think, Noah? I mean,
yeah, he answered his phone like he said.
I mean, that was a shock. Do you think if we called Mike Griffith today, you think he would answer his phone?
I think he would text you first to make sure it was you.
Do you think he would come on, or do you think I'm in like the? I mean, did Tony and Brett get me in the doghouse? Is that? I mean, I worked with Mike for probably 3.5 years.
I think they definitely threw him off, and I think they sort of realized that and course corrected a little bit.
Can I hear the opening again from Mike? And then we'll go to Joe and Dothan. From Mike Griffith, this is the way it sounded with Mike Griffith last week. I believe that was on a Tuesday. It could have been on a Wednesday, but this is what Mike Griffith responded to the great fill-in host last week, Brett and Tony.
Is this like fan-run radio? You've got to be one of the most unprofessional openings I have ever heard.
And see, I even heard Tony kind of smoothing out. Peacemaker Tony. He was kind of smoothing it out. See, he was trying to give the gentle laugh of, coming down to that level. But Mike's a guy that likes to take shots at Alabama. And if he doesn't see that, then he's blinded by the lights. Greg Byrne also gets a new contract. He will go up to starting in July at, okay, hold on, 1.185, 1.885, excuse me, 1.885. Wow. It's kind of hard to say that we're broke. Wow. 1.885. Kalen DeBoer, significant raise. Let's get your reaction. Joe, Dothan. Joe, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Afternoon, Ryan. Thanks for taking my call. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, I just want to credit Kalen DeBoer for staying in front of the price of inflation. I mean, that's big.
That's huge.
I mean, I went to Sam's Club yesterday, and I paid $62 for a bag of dog food. That was $47 just a couple of years ago. It was $52 back in November. Now it's $62. So, if you're making $10 million a year, you don't have to worry about those type of things.
This is true. I got to tell you, Ryan, I thought Tony and Brett did an excellent job last week. Now, I wasn't able to listen live except for Friday, but I listened to on demand to the shows, on the app there, and I thought they did a great job. And let me tell you something, Ryan, the beat down they put on Mike Griffith, that for me was special. That was really, I don't know, Barn or Sallee is one thing, but I dislike Mike Griffith maybe more than anybody else in sports media. That's just me, though, Ryan. So I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Well, Mike has taken so many shots at Alabama. And really, if you look at Mike, whether he was at Tennessee or whether he was at Michigan State, when he was at Michigan State, he was pro-Big Ten. Pro-Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten. Then he went to Tennessee. He was pro-Philip Fulmer. He was pro-Tennessee. Now Kirby can do anything any wrong. And Mike and I agree on a lot of things. Mike and I I'm pro-military. He was 82nd Airborne. Love to talk with him about his military days. I mean, he's probably one of the very few media people that's ever jumped out of an airplane willingly, and helicopter or whatever, the 82nd Airborne. 82nd Airborne, well, I mean, they are airborne, so I would imagine that probably a C-130 out of the back. But so you think about Mike Griffith. We probably won't have him on this week, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, let me tell you, I wouldn't cry any tears. There's just a smugness and arrogance to him that it's hard to describe, Ryan, but I just got to be honest with you, that's my feeling on it. And I thoroughly enjoyed. I was able to call him on Friday when they had Paul from Lincoln in studio, and he did a great job. And I thought they did a great job all week. Now, perhaps if you were kind of a snowflake or maybe a little holier than thou, maybe you wouldn't have enjoyed it. But I personally enjoyed it very much so.
Okay. Well, hey, on the win column, Tony and Brett started out with an 0-1 or 0-2, and now they've worked back in the lead. So going into the middle of the innings here, 2 hours in, Tony and Brett have recaptured the upvotes. They got positive votes here. So and Noah's back on macaroni and cheese. So I failed today without not bringing him lunch.
Ryan, as far as the crying Barners go, now you can tell this is another example. They continue to reveal themselves. Most of them, I'd say 75%, just became basketball fans in the last 6 years when Bruce Pearl started, winning some and all that, and they had their Final Four run. They're bandwagoners. So they're not familiar with how this process works, Brian. And if anyone that's paid any attention at all, the committee over the last, especially 3 to 4 years, I'd say, knows that they don't put a lot of weight in the conference tournament. They haven't for the last several years. That's a fact. Now, if you win it, if you're not going to get in and you win it, then that definitely is a big thing because it puts you in the tournament. But I'm saying I think they pretty much have everything seeded before those tournaments even finish, and they may have to shuffle somebody in or out who's on the bubble. But other than that, I don't think it makes a lot of difference.
Joe, I like my theory. I like my theory better. I just don't think Auburn carries as much weight as the state media pretends that they do. I mean, in a lot of ways, we cater to Auburn. In this state, we cater to them. And I think a lot of it is they feel sorry for Auburn, right? They live in the shadow of Alabama. They are a little brother. Underdog. Yes, the underdog role. And so we cater to them. We give them the exposure. Because in this state, Joe, you live in this state. They almost split it down the middle, 50-50. It's like if you're going to spend 2 minutes and 21 seconds on Alabama, you're going to spend 2 minutes and 21 seconds on Auburn. They do that.
Oh, absolutely. And Brian, and you're right. And I actually heard an Auburn fan here on the local station this morning say, and I chuckled to myself because I said, that's right. That's why you're Barners. Because he said, if our name was Kentucky and we had the same resume, we would have gotten a 3 seed. And I said to myself, yes, that's why you're Auburn. You're a loser. You're exactly right. That was so it kind of reinforces your point.
Well, and I almost when I warn Alabama a little bit, that I don't want to see us fall into a similar trap because I know that there needs to be an upgrade of Coliseums. I get that. I hear it every day. People, they ask me, I probably get that question more than I do the quarterback question here in Tuscaloosa. When's the stadium going to be updated? When's the stadium going to be updated? What are they going to update? When are they going to update? When are they going to do this? When are they going to do this? I don't want us to fall in the trap because I feel like that a lot of Alabama fans want it simply because it's one of the very few things. It's kind of like the Heisman trophies. A few years ago, Auburn only had one thing that they could rub it on Alabama. Heisman trophies. They had more Heisman trophies. Well, now we've recaptured that lead. I almost feel like that the Coliseum in some ways is that as well. It's like they have something new. We need something new.
They've got the shiny new toy. We should have the shiny new toy.
But really, when you look at that facility, it's perfect for them.
Right.
Alabama can't go out here and build one of these cookie cutter 8,500 seat arenas. And we saw when there were students on spring break. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Looked like a ghost town.
Not full, for sure.
Yeah, and so when you look at the fan base, they've got some heavy hitters. They've got some rich folks that support their school. But the majority, I mean, remember, just a couple of years ago with the Iron Bowl, they had to go out and give tickets in between the 40s or between the the 20s, they had to go fill it with the Boys and Girls Club, and which is great for those young folks to get tickets, but they couldn't even sell out the Iron Bowl. So we're talking about a school that, I mean, where would Auburn rank when you look at facilities of Jordan, 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 Hare Stadium? 87,000? What is that? Is it even middle of the road in the SEC?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I mean, in the SEC, even teams like South Carolina, you're talking well over 80,000. So
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know where that would rank.
And so I've often said with Texas and Oklahoma coming into this league, Auburn takes 2 steps back. Both of those schools are in front of Auburn.
Oh yeah, totally agree. As far as you asked the question about the ceiling for this team, Ryan. I kind of feel like it's a Sweet 16. And listen, and it's frustrating. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was very disappointed. I thought we played just terrible against Florida in the tournament game. But I'm hoping, and really it's just, I'll be honest with you, Ryan, we've lost momentum these last, I'd say, going back all the way to about the time we played Florida at home and won in overtime. After that, and I know injuries have been a part of that. We got to be fair. We haven't been fully healthy, and it's just we've gotten cold offensively in the last 2 games. That's what's very concerning to me because that's where we hang our hat. So I feel like we could make it to the Sweet 16. I don't see us going beyond that. And Ryan, if we don't start getting a little hotter offensively, well, I don't know if we're going to make it to the Sweet 16. I don't know if we'll beat St. Mary's if that's the matchup. If we don't improve offensively from where we have been, the last 6, 7, 8 games.
But and Nate Oates kind of explained this last night on a Zoom call that with the minute limitations, when you listen to, I thought he made some great points, but he almost described this as a blessing in disguise from losing to get it. For one, he even mentioned the extra day, not playing on a Thursday, getting on a Friday. That's 24 hours. So he talked about the limitations on the minutes, and health-wise, Joe, if Nate Oates is selling that, are you a buyer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, it definitely makes a difference. And don't get me wrong, I was frustrated with the game the other night, but I agree with what you said. When you look at the overall picture of what he's done, Ryan, don't forget, I'm pretty sure, I think Avery Johnson's last game of his career at Alabama was a home loss to, I think it was it North Dakota State, or it was one of the South Dakota State or North Dakota State type teams. So this is our 4th straight year making the NCAA tournament. Quite something to be said for that. Have to keep things in perspective.
Okay. And hey, Nate Oates has got a contract here that was just released in a 2030 contract. But here's a new statement from Nate Oates. There's also one in Greg Burns here. So let's go through these. It says, quote, "I'm excited and honored to have the chance to extend my relationship with the University of Alabama. I've said from day one, my family and I love this community, the city of Tuscaloosa, the university. So I'm thankful and appreciative for all the support we have received from President Stuart Bell, Chancellor St. John, the Board of Trustees, and Greg Byrne. We enjoyed tremendous success during our 5 years at Alabama, and we look forward to building on that for many years to come." And then Greg Byrne has a very similar statement and kind of, talking about he's not only a great coach, but he's an outstanding leader and developer of young men. We appreciate his commitment to our program. Thank you to Stuart Bell, Chancellor St. John, and our Board of Trustees for their approval in this process. So, wow. Pretty awesome. And I thought Nate Oates with a reminder last night saying that in first time in back-to-back tournament bids that they've been a 4 seed or higher. Last year with the number 1 overall seed, this year with the number 4 seed going out to Spokane. So, Joe, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Ryan. Enjoy the show as always. Have a great day.
Hey, thank you as well. And I do remind people that we will talk with Kalen DeBoer. We'll talk with him live on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Wednesday at 5 o'clock, he'll be live here on the show, and we'll have a ton of fun. And spring practice back out on the practice field tomorrow, pro day on Wednesday, and then back on on practice on Thursday, and then also practice on Saturday morning. So it's a very, very busy week, and keep it right here to Tide 100.9 from all of our shows. Morning, 6 a.m., Wimp and Barry inside the locker room, 7 until 9, leading right into the Gary Harris Show, leading right into Wyatt Fulton, T-Town Daily. and then leading right into Miller's Edge with Corey and Christian Miller. Then we pick it up every day starting at 2 p.m. We'll take more of your phone calls. We'll go to AC in Bangladesh next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
The National Weather Service in Birmingham has issued a freeze warning for Tuesday, March 19th from 1 a.m. until 9 a.m. for portions of Tuscaloosa and central Alabama. You can read about that at thetuscaloosathread.com. In addition, the Northport City Council is expected to undergo more change, with District 1 member Christy Bobo expected to move up to replace former President Jeff Hogg, who unexpectedly resigned. A franchise owner is scouting Tuscaloosa for the perfect spot to build the city's first 7-brew coffee drive-thru. You can read about these stories and more at thetuscaloosathread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, happy Monday afternoon to you. We've got a bit of a gridlock on 69 northbound lanes to Union Chapel Road. That is very tight in the area. The backup is to just shy of McFarland Boulevard. And then we've got the construction zones. You know where they are if you travel this way.
Find a store or switch Suavemente at TotalByVerizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Where the legends of Alabama football hang out.
McCarron, draw play. Lacey, huge hole.
Touchdown.
Yep. Alabama touchdown.
The Game with Ryan Fowler. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
I would give you everything that you wanted, but I would never ask for any of it back. And if I could take only as much as I needed.
All right, we're going to take more phone calls. And remember, tomorrow we'll start a nice little NCAA tournament challenge. We're going to give away Bama Nick's prize package that he won a couple of weeks ago because he's been screaming at us because he refused to pick it up, right? He refused to pick it up. We'll get his approval in that process. We'll get to AC in Bangladesh coming up in a couple of minutes. We'll get to Tommy and Romulus and then Bama Nick as well. Actually, Bama Nick will be in front of Tommy and Romulus. Before I get, because I may be stumbling into a hornet's nest here. Is this something that I need to? Do I need to know anything before I take these phone calls? No, I just.
Nah, we just go for it.
Jackson, were you here last week, or were you partying on the beach too? Okay, where'd you go? Did you? I didn't see you down in Gulf Shores.
Panama City for me. It was actually pretty chill. There weren't too many people down there.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah.
Panama City. Wow, that's a new term.
Yeah.
For spring break, it was pretty chill. Spring break in Panama City used to be.
It wasn't too crowded, honestly. I was quite shocked.
Wow. So you're saying I was busier down with the snowbirds in Gulf Shores than?
I think so.
I mean, we were having a good old time up there.
Did you beat them at
hand, knee, and foot? No, I got actually beat. That's about a 4-hour card game. I was on the losing team. I felt like Auburn for a couple of minutes. But let's go to AC in Bangladesh. AC, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
I'm doing good, man. How you feeling? Thank you so much for
good.
taking
I got your 40 emails. I haven't responded to any of them. I apologize for that.
No, you don't have to apologize. It's between you and I, okay? I'm trying to work with other stations to get you on. So, like I said,
You're trying to do what now?
I can help you, okay? I'm trying to help you to get into the other stations.
I don't want to go any other stations. I'm very happy here.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Now you're not talking business with AC. It has nothing to do with me. It has something to do with you. So you promote yourself. You're going to be like Mike Griffith. Boom, boom. You're going to get your customers. You're going to get your fans. That's what you're looking for, right? I mean, that's what you're looking for. I'm a businessman. How many times do I have to repeat it? I'm trying to help a brother, but the brother doesn't want to help himself. What am I going to do?
AC, I just asked for patience as you work through this process. I mean, I appreciate you wanting us to take to the big time.
That's right. Well,
I mean,
you know what?
so
You're
AC, did
correct.
you call last week?
No, sir. I'll be honest with you. I did not. I can lie to you, but I'll be an honest man. No, I did not.
Did you listen?
No, I did not. I could have said yes, but I'm going to be honest with you. Would you rather me be an honest businessman,
yes.
or do you
No,
want me to lie to
I'd rather you lie to me. I'd rather you just tell me.
you? Of course. I mean, you want lies.
Just say that. Say it was the best show that you've ever heard, please.
Right. Wait. We're talking about for today?
No, last week.
I did not even listen to the show.
Well, I know,
so
but
how am I
you
supposed
said
to do
do you want me to lie to you? And I said yes, please.
it? For
Never
your
mind.
sake, I am not going to lie to you.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
But you are doing a great job. But here's the thing. You know, you talk about Nick Saban, whoever. What's his name? Oatmeal? What's his name? The coach? What's his name? The basketball coach?
Oatmeal? You've got Paul and Lincoln calls Joe Biden oatmeal. We call Nate Oates Nate Oates.
Okay. That's your head coach. My bad. I apologize. You know, he talks about a lot of things.
Oatmeal.
Did you think about that?
I never heard. I'm sorry, AC. That's pretty good.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Did you think about the NCAA March Madness contest? Now that you are fresh, ready to go. Did you think about my contest?
Yeah, we're actually going to give away Bama Nick's prize package.
What prize package?
I mean, he won a big prize package a couple of weeks ago. The Super Bowl prediction contest. Oh, yeah. He cleaned up. I mean, he won. And Bama Nick said, him being the good-hearted person that he is, we're going to give that away here on the show as the NCAA bracket challenge contest. So it's Win Bama Nick's prize package. That's what we're going to call this. I mean, I know it's very creative. Win Bama Nick's prize package. Or we could just say win Bama Nick's package.
It even took a month and a half to collect his package. I mean, Super Bowl ended, a month and a half ago? I mean, it did not end last night, that's for sure. Fowler, you freak.
I mean, we could win Bama Nick's package.
Okay, whatever that package is, I don't care. Let's get into that March
Okay, but
Madness
so okay,
bracket.
all right. So I you've talked about this for years. So let me let you design this, okay?
Go ahead.
AC, you're in charge of this contest, okay? You tell her, because you're not very happy with winning Bama Nick's package. I can tell. You want something more. So tell me what you're...
you said package. No, you just say package, but you're
Oh,
not
you want a bigger
specific.
package.
What am I looking at? Basketball, football? What's in that package?
I mean, anything that you want to be put in it. I mean, you're creating this. This is your prize contest.
Forget it. I don't care about his price package. I know it's not $1 million. That's for sure.
Well, no, I mean we're not in that
Forget
level.
that.
You've not taken us to the world stage yet. We're going, but we haven't got there yet.
I mean, the plane has to fly, right?
Well, here
Slowly,
I
surely,
got a half a bag of pocket lint. That's one thing. Let me see what else I got. Let's see. Let me see what I can find. I've got a Chuck Norwood Remax of Gulf Shores pen. I've got an unused flosser
No, it's used. It's used.
I got another one in my thing here.
We get a used
All right,
and
Mr.
an
Fowler, before you start searching your pocket, here's the thing. Just be honest. Just say,
You know,
ATI
and I will say this.
to
You
do-
sent me this big Outback gift card. I've got it somewhere here.
I did.
Maybe I could put that in there. But that's not one of our sponsors.
Sure, I mean, that's where...
So then I would be giving them
that's
free
where
advertising, and then I'd be...
Of course. I mean, that's for you and what's that thing? The producer, not for everybody else. We're not gifting everybody, correct?
No.
That's right. So say you're for yourself. I think that Outback would definitely love you. The promotional code.
Okay, but okay, so you're designing this. Okay, you're designing this. What do you want us to do? Because we're going to do a bracket challenge, and we'll start tomorrow taking callers, and we'll do it like we've done it for several years. But you want us to do something else, so help me.
Yeah. So I mean, you go on ESPN app. You simply create a bracket for men and women. One entry per person. We're not gonna have one person entering 10 different contests. We're not gonna do that. And then you're just gonna give us the username and whatever you create with. You're gonna let us know on air. boom, I'll take it from there. It's that simple.
Okay, so you want to do a full bracket. No, I mean, you want to do a full bracket, right? You want to do a full bracket.
It's easy to create, man. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Mr. Fowler, I'm starving for competition. You don't get it. Do you have any idea how many donations I'll put out if I end up winning? I told you, I'll give up my money or whatever I win, I'll give it to someone who needs it. I can help them, but you got to help me. I'm a businessman. I'm telling you, man, we can help each other, right?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
I don't.
Okay.
That's right. See, now you get it. But you did mention something before I hang up. You did say AC has patience in the process. That sounds like Nick Saban. Of course I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust the process when you lose to Michigan over Rings, correct? Holla.
He's always talking about that holla. I wonder what his fascination is, Jackson, about hollas. He says that at the end of the call every time. He says holla. Now, I'm from North Alabama, down in the holla. I mean, we hear Dixieland Delight. I think they even use the word hollow. He's a big fan. Wow, busy show here today. Med Center Urgent Care Family Medicine, no appointment necessary. The super doctors who live and work in our community. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. MedCenterUrgentCare.com. AC in Bangladesh. We'll get to Bama Nick. When Bama Nick's package. He didn't pick it up. He didn't want it. I mean, we gave him tons. He won one of the biggest contests of the entire year. And he said, forget it. I don't want it. Give it away to somebody else. So we're doing that. Win Bama Nick's package starting tomorrow. We'll do our NCAA tournament, and AC wants to do something else. We'll do something else. Kalen DeBoer getting the big contract, $10 million. Kane Womack, which we featured a couple of weeks ago, 1.55. Nick Sheridan, 1.35. Mike Rodak reporting Jamarcus Shepard, 1.1. Freddie Roach, $1 million. Mo Linguist, $875,000. Chris Kapilovich, I think is the way we're saying it. I'll wait to get the pronunciation there, but $875. Robert Gillespie, $850. Christian Robinson, $650. Brian Ellis, $550, and Jay Nunez, which is a special teams coordinator, is at $250 as well. So he'll be a special.
Store or switch Suavemente at TotalByVerizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Don Wallace CPA, 527 Main Avenue in downtown Northport. Small business and personal income taxes, payroll, sales tax needs. They can also help you with nonprofit or church accounting or auditing. In business since 1999, they work for you, not the IRS. When you take on taxes, you got to have someone on your side. It's Don.
Sure, I'm pulling them off. 24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Never ask for any other back. And if I could take only as much as I needed,
Do you like this new Casey Musgrave?
I would take everything.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's solid. Who is this again?
Casey Musgraves. He's a country singer.
Are you depressed today, Noah? I mean, are you disappointed that I'm back? Because you've played all this like crying music. I mean, it feels like all we need is Hank Williams, A Tear in My Beer, and I think we'll be like full circle. I mean,
I'll cue that one up next.
I guess it's. I mean, Noah.
I'm sad because I won't be able to eat for the rest of the week.
Oh, because Brett brought you cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he brought me food.
By the way,
that's what I was talking with Tommy. Tommy was like, "When's he? You got to ask Ryan when he's going on vacation next, because that's when you can eat again."
Yeah, I heard Tommy cleaned up at the 10th anniversary party. By the way, a huge crowd at Southern Ale House this past weekend. They want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, and appreciate Tuscaloosa for embracing Southern Ale House. Eat Southern, be Southern. When you look at the menu today, St. Patty's Day was yesterday. Did you wear green?
No, I got pinched a ton of times.
You know, I had a light green shirt on.
People also kept trying to find my gold.
I was going to take that by another place, but I think I'll just leave it sitting on the table. St. Patty's Patrick Day menu. I mean, you guys.
The Golden Nuggets?
Jackson showed you. It's kind of like what Auburn's doing. You go for something a little. It's up there, but you're just looking for it. Today they got the St. Patty's menu. The Reuben egg rolls is the appetizer, which those were really, really, really super good. The Irish beef stew, shepherd's pie, corned beef, and cabbage with hash. They're also doing a Reuben sandwich, speckled butter beans, roasted cabbage. It is our good friends at Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Brett Garner cooking up a good St. Patty's Day menu today. And that not only was for lunch, it'll also be for dinner. So if you're thinking about going out and getting a good meal, it's Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Remember to check out, I know Wyatt's over there working a lot of these different contracts. So Greg Byrne has got a significant pay raise. Nate Oates, contract extension, now becoming one of the top 5 basketball coaches in the entire country. And, maybe we could play a little Pink Floyd. Money, 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 money. See, look at me. I'm dropping some. I
didn't think you knew anything about music.
Not much, but I do know. Well, we paid enough contracts here prior to Nick Saban's arrival. We paid a lot of contracts, but David Blue will also make $950,000. That is a $225,000 raise over this, so he will become the second highest paid strength coach. Wow,
Ryan, I have a question. So on your vacation,
this is crazy.
Did you use any of your free time to watch any movies?
I can't say I did.
You didn't go see that new Dune 2? Not a Dune head?
No, I didn't. Let's see. I didn't watch a lot of television. I mean, I watched the basketball game on Friday. I watched Nick Saban on Fox News. Did you watch that, by the way?
Jackson did.
It was really solid. I mean, like, he's very revealing, and he even popped a couple of questions about Joe Manchin, his real good friend. Look at Jackson.
Saban for president.
Are you a big Fox News guy? I mean,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I think you are. I can see it. I can see the eyes. I'm a Fox News guy.
Dabble in the Sean Hannity.
Well, he's an Alabama guy.
He is. I know.
Mark Levin is as well. Laura Ingraham is as well. Yeah. I mean, it's like the Alabama. I love Alabama Network up there. Is. Rachel Madcow, I don't know where she went to school, but maybe she's an Auburn girl. I don't know. And that's me judging. I don't know. I mean, she, in this currently identity thing, I said she was a female, and that was a very sexist comment by me. I don't know if she is or not. I mean,
Caitlin Collins did go to Alabama as well.
Don't, Jackson, please don't give me.
I hate to slander.
I'm trying to be nice here.
Like that,
let me just skip that topic, please. I see Caitlin's always got the. Anyway, I don't want to attack a fellow Alabama alum, but she's not one of those that I'm very proud of.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Look at Jackson. Noah, did you train this guy?
No,
Jackson.
No, he's rebelling against my teachings.
Let's go to Bama Nick. Bama Nick, how are you? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Ryan Fowler. Woo! Bama Nick is back talking to the man with the plan.
So
what you got to say today, Fowler?
Well, I mean, this is the apology tour, to be honest with you. That's where we're at. We're in the apology tour this week.
I'm trying not to get canceled.
Don't step on my call, Fowler. I understand what
you asked me. What was on my mind? That was the question. Yeah, you said that just 2 seconds ago.
AC. I'm trying to answer a question. You asked the question, what does holler mean? Well, I figured it out.
Okay.
Whenever AC goes off the air and says holler, it just means he's trying to tell you goodbye. That's the only thing I can make out to be holler.
Okay. Well, down in the
now that answered that question, Fowler.
Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate you helping me get to the bottom of that.
Yeah. And ask him what it means next time he calls in.
Okay. Well, I mean, he just speaks a different language, and I'm trying to catch up with current 2024, verbiage, but I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be.
I'm just guessing, Fowler. I'm just giving you. I'm just trying to guess the answer to that question you posed on the people. Okay. On the peoples.
So, Bama Nick, how would you grade last week's show?
Well, I sent a little message to your producer Noah.
Which way?
I said, ask if he got it. I sent it.
Bama Nick.
Noah,
did you get Bama Nick's message? He said he sent you a very informative message here.
A message?
Where did you send it at? We didn't get it.
I went down on on your app. I went down.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of messages from Bama Nick.
He got mine last week when I said when they was eating pizza, they sounded like about 3 hogs at a trough.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I just found it. Here's a message, Noah. Tony and Brett suck as hosting sports talk shows. Book closed. Bama Nick, America's Georgia on Friday afternoon during Free For All Friday. But
that wasn't last week. That was probably the first time they did.
No, it says 3:15. That was Friday. Then here's also 3 other compliments. You want me to read those?
If you read the one I sent today.
Ryan, my opinion for last week during your vacation, Texas Tony and Brett the chef did a great job.
There you go.
Radio Gold, even with no, I can't read that part. Dadgummit, man. I mean,
why can't you?
Well, because I'm not going to say that language on this radio program. I mean, I've already avoided the Pink Slip Monday today.
Well,
I mean, I walk into the studio, I go check the box just to make sure there's no pink slip in there. Like, your services are no longer needed on Tide 100.9.
Well, I told you when I talked to you 3 times last week on your vacation, I said, I will save the show, fella. I won't get you fired, but I'll save the show.
You sent me a message, and I said, well, you're in charge.
Texas Tony texted me, said, Bama Nick, please call in and save the show. So I did.
Oh, okay. So that's Texas Tony.
Texas Tony, he has a different story.
No, Texas Tony called, handed me messages. Bama Nick, why didn't you call today? I think it was on Thursday.
So, okay, because now here's the question.
I said, don't worry, Tony. I'll call in tomorrow.
Okay. The fluid it was not flowing in a correct direction. Fair enough?
Texas Tony. He knew I called in 3 times, 4 times just to save the show because it was sucking.
Well, now, what was your reaction?
Embrace the suck, Fowler.
SAUCK. Don't let that be confused with the other suck.
I told him when I said it one night, I spelled it different. But they enjoyed it. They laughed and they enjoyed it.
Okay.
And it saved the show. Now go ahead on with what you want to ask me, Fowler.
So is it, a couple of weeks ago you won a nice little package.
Yeah. And I was telling Kathy a while ago when she's out here. She said, Mama Nick. I said, yes, Kathy. She said, when you won that package, which I didn't even think I was going to win it, so it was a shock to me. And I told you, what did I tell you, fellow, when you told me? I said, give it to the homeless people. Give it to somebody that needs it more than me. I don't need the package. And you make it out like I didn't want to drive to Tuscaloosa to get it. Well, I live 5 hours away from Tuscaloosa.
But Bama Nick, I was going to...
The only reason I play these score predictions, if I win something, I'm going to give it to somebody that needs it more than me. I don't need it.
Okay, but to be fair, Bama Nick, when I was going to bring you over to Tuscaloosa, we were going to give you a dozen red roses of Pat's Florist. Okay?
You're lying, fella.
No, I mean, these are some of the things... No. Listen to me talk. Listen to me.
You wouldn't even bring me over to host the show on there.
Well, that was going to be part of it. That was part of the winnings. You were going to win a 4-hour hosting contract.
No, I wasn't.
We were going to feed you at Southern Ale House. We were going to give you Mark's Mark where you can take some ribeyes back to America's Georgia.
Yeah, well, you never mentioned that in the package. All you talking about going to win some red roses and...
I mean, what do you think? We're cheap around here? I mean, we're not as cheap as you think we are.
Well, I know. After listening to Paul, he was going over those stuff. Y'all putting them up in embassy suites and all this stuff.
I mean, who do you think we are around here, Bama Nick? I mean...
Well, you ain't got my NIL money yet. I ain't got a check from that.
Well, it's.
And I want to know what my contract. How much money am I getting called next for the rest of the year?
Well, the board of trustees.
Pay, right?
The board of trustees has not approved your salary yet, but they will. They're working their way through these contracts. So.
Well, I know it. They might. They better do. I'm going to have to become a free agent.
Yeah. So, well, we don't want you to come up. I mean, we heard you were over cheating.
Well, yeah, I'm sure Tippy told through the tulips. Tommy told you that, but that's the way it is. Hell, I told you that when I called and talked to you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, all right. So before we get to the next caller, because this next guy.
What about the next caller?
Say, thank God for the dump button. Thank God for the dump button. Noah, were you very confident in the dump button? I mean, all you could do is hit it. Okay.
My heart is racing.
Oh, mine did too. Bama Nick getting us in trouble. There goes the Bama Nick's package. There goes that. So, man, Bama Nick, he's got. I was quick. You were quick. I don't think we got it out there, but you never know. We may have. We were.
Apologies if we did.
I mean, I don't know what else you can do. All we do is mash the button. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll report it to a higher authority. Maybe we can.
I think we should go to break and then reset.
I mean, literally, my heart. Please, I'm asking. Okay, not just Bama Nick. Okay, please be careful, because we do get in the weeds from time to time, and we know the emotions, but
they get a little heated.
And I know when you get your butt whipped, sometimes you got to have that humble pie. It doesn't sound like Bama Nick has any humble pie. We'll continue with more of the game. Next, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It's a long gridlock on McFarland southbound lanes to 15th Street. You got bumper-to-bumper traffic back to University Boulevard. And it looks like we're experiencing your rush to home delays starting to volumize. And we've also got some heaviness still on 69 on
Family picks with new Easter looks. It's easy with women's and girls' dresses for only $20 and under. Low prices on everything for Easter? Now that's Target.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Where college football season never ends. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9.
This is big boy football.
And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
No, I know this is the old school, but back in the old days when you would let one of those words out, I'll never forget it. I got my butt busted by my football coach for using that same word. It's not a big word, but it's
just 4 letters, not very big.
Yeah, it's a body fluid that you dispose of. I remember Coach McAfee. I'll never forget him my entire life because we were cleaning up. This was back in the old days when on Friday, you know who picked up the trash around the football stadium on a Monday? That would be the student body. So on a Friday high school football, Monday, it'd be cleanup day. And so I picked up a cup, and it had one of those skull, where people would spit, and it dumped. And I dropped that same word that Bama Nick just used. And Coach McAfee hollered as Bama, or as AC in Bangladesh, holla. He holla all the way across the field, and he said, Fowler, I owe you two. Remind me we get back to the field house. there's two. I mean, this is back in the, did you ever get a paddling? I mean, did you?
No.
I mean, I know that's, you were probably one of the good kids. I had my share. And the coaches were always the worst. I mean, they were the ones that would beat you like I didn't remind him that he owed me 2, and I got 3 for using that same word. So we'll get the Ivory soap out, which is the worst tasting soap in the history of. Have you ever had the?
I did that. I don't even remember why. I was really young.
I can probably tell you why, Noah.
Oh, but I don't even remember what I would have said. But I was really young. I remember.
Maybe you said embrace the SAUCK. As
I don't think it was that.
I was pretty creative last week, putting the AU in there, and I guess the real good thing. And hey, by the way, front and center, Bradley Bozeman signed a contract with the LA Chargers. That was out there. We got new contracts from Kalen DeBoer. We got new contracts from Nate Oates, and let's go to Tommy and Romulus, the Knockout King. Tommy, I know you heard the word because you were on the phones. That's the only people that heard it. So hope all is well. It. Yeah, but everybody else, we got the dump button is working. That's breaking news right there.
Well, that's
Noah, that is breaking news.
Martin texted and said we're safe.
He did text us and said we're safe because we thought that word made it out, and that would create some laps to be run in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, well, a good thing Noah caught it. He got his strength back, I heard Noah ate real well last week.
Yeah, I heard you dominated the Southern Ale House party. I heard you were the life of the party.
I was, yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you this right off. I ate 2 of the best chili dogs or sausage dogs I've ever had. The cheese was warm. Oh, my goodness.
I am convinced that Brett Garner can cook grilled cheeses like nobody else. I don't know if there's anything that he can't cook that is solid. I would say that I'm about 15, 20 pounds overweight. I would say that 90% of that overweight is due to him.
Well, everybody that last Saturday is overweight today because it was good food, good fellowship. They did a good job. I'm glad I just had a small part helping that little endowment for the scholarship they're trying to get up.
Oh, for Fuller Goldsmith, yeah.
Yeah, it was very noble, and I'm just so happy to have a little small part into that. So.
And the young man was a huge part of our community, and I know that did some pretty awesome stuff with being a top junior chef. And you walk into Southern Ale House, and his name is proudly displayed and was a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they had a great band. First time ever hearing them. Don't ask me the name of it. I don't think they ever said the name. But
Chris Stapleton.
Oh, was it? Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, they're not going to swing, small. I mean, they're going after the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have to walk 5 miles because Chris Stapleton. Yeah. Oh well. But
they just didn't tell anybody that it was Chris Stapleton. It was him in disguise. But it was. I heard it was really good. I heard. See, I was down hanging out with the Snowbirds. It was final couple of days down there. So.
I heard you in the hot tub. I don't want to know no more.
Me in the hot tub.
Yeah.
So middle of the week last week, I had a leg that I don't know if it was an injury. I don't know if it was walking on the beach too much, but I had to request a prescription be called in for. And the hot tub was a best friend of old people.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I mean, if and I was out there by myself, just hanging out because it was the only thing that I could get my leg to loosen up a little bit. So I had an injury.
Yeah, you had a sand injury. Yeah. Sand toe, sand foot, whatever, like toe turn.
Well, I looked up the injury, and I think I stretched my IT band, which I didn't even know I had an IT band, but I do. And I read it and said, how is IT bands injured? And I was immediately able to eliminate the number one reason that you stretch your IT band. And you know what the number one reason how you stretch your IT band is, Tommy?
Walking on sand.
No, running on uneven surfaces. I was able to eliminate myself because I don't run on even surfaces or uneven surfaces.
Yeah, I don't know how you hurt yourself because on the wind, you don't run.
I'm looking through the different criteria. How do you injure your IT band? And I went through all these. I'm like, I don't do any of this. Squatting heavy weights. That's not in my list of things that I need to do today.
If it was in your elbow or your forearm, I could see it. You using a fork and a knife, but
Oh yeah. Cleaning my plate. But as far as running, no, I don't. I don't do a lot of running. Noah runs. Noah runs. He's a big 5K guy.
I ran this morning.
How far did you go?
Only like a mile.
Anybody
I've been out
chasing
of it a
you?
little bit.
Anybody chasing you? Or?
No, you got to get ready in case someone does chase you.
Yeah, that's just not. I used to be a runner. I've ran some marathons. You don't believe me, do you?
I don't believe you.
You want me to bring in my certificate? I've
seen your combine.
No, that's for. I'm not a speed guy. I'm an endurance guy. Maybe that's.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I am. All right. So, Tommy, just kind of walk us through this post-fight press conference here.
He didn't bring no A game. He had no A game. He called me tiptoe through the tulip, Tommy. I didn't tiptoe through his tulip garden. I smashed every one of his freaking tulip, and I broke his little gondolier guitar over his head. End of story.
Tommy, I've known you for years. This is the most angry I've ever heard you.
Really? Am I angry? I thought I'm very relieved. I'm happy. I got a lot of things off my chest. It was good. You might have took a week vacation.
Okay.
Well,
if there's anything that can come out of last week, it is how Tony and Barrett Sallee are now. I mean, you heard Barrett a couple of minutes ago embrace Tony.
I know they're going to send Christmas card to each other. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
They become pen pals.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas card, happy birthday greetings, all that stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, but Mike Griffin will probably send Tony a bunch of black roses.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't made it around to call Mike Griffith back, but I've got to. I gotta face it at some point. So, Tommy, you're on the approval. I'm keeping a tally here.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
When I first heard them...
Okay, so Brett and Tony have taken a demanding late lead here. Big, huge.
Well, see, Tony had put the Alabama nation farther out. Now, he's starting to make it global. And we're not the Alabama nation anymore. We're the Alabama Empire. But you know what? I think Tony and Brett and me need to expand it more. It's not the Empire. It's the Crimson Universe. Because
we're taking over.
Yeah, Tuscaloosa is the center of the Crimson Universe. And there's a caller that says something like, people like Tommy from Romulus and Coker and all these other little things that don't matter in Tuscaloosa. Now I went, you're right. You're not in the Crimson Universe. Tuscaloosa is the center. Not UAB, not Huntsville, not Auburn. And I'm going to give quotation to Biscuit Bruce. Remember this, Ralph Arnold. We are the University of Alabama. Got it?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Thank you, Tommy.
You have a good one, my friend.
Tommy's got a new step, like a little step in his, a little pep in his step. You know what I mean? I mean, like you can see it. I mean,
bouncing a step.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it in Tommy's voice. I mean, he's walking around. I mean, and you heard it, the weakness in Bama Nick's voice. Did you not? I mean, we heard that.
Pretty weak.
I mean, we heard that word.
Defeated.
Yeah, and so now Tommy bounced back. I mean, he's the king. Wow.
You think he's the number one caller now?
To be the man, you got to beat the man. We'll get to Digger in Louisiana, and we'll get to is it Jimbo or Jumbo now? I mean, because he went through a name change, did he not?
I always thought it was Jumbo.
And then we got Jared in Houston, and we got Corey, and remember, Kalen DeBoer will be on Wednesday at 5 o'clock right here on The Game. We'll continue with more of The Game. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
Bunch of moves happening in the NFL, including in New Orleans, where the Saints and defensive end Chase Young have agreed to terms on a one-year deal worth $13 million. That's according to the NFL Network. Young finished the season with the 49ers after being dealt to San Francisco by the Washington Commanders. Speaking of San Francisco, they will forfeit a fifth-round pick and have their fourth-rounder in the 2024 draft moved to the end of the round after accounting errors were found in their salary cap in 2022. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins will wear jersey number 18 with his new team. NFL Network says former Vikings running back Alexander Mattison is signing a deal with the Raiders. And former Packers left tackle David Bakhtiari plans to play in 2024 after appearing in just one game last season because of a knee injury. That's
if you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
InsureEndorsement.com, a little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. Eat Southern, be Southern. All the biscuit sandwiches, the great Southern cuisine like the bacon wrapped meatloaf, the fish and taters. All the great sandwiches like the Yardbird, the great salads, the daily lunch and dinner specials Monday through Saturday at Southern Ale House. We've also opened up an additional part of Southern Ale House and expanded with our catering needs there to fulfill what you're looking for. 205-248-7500. Ask for
PearlRiverResort.com. We connect at thewallflowers.com.
Nuke's Eatery right there on University Boulevard, 205 University Boulevard. Call ahead orders 205-758-2455. We always like to say close enough that you can smell the championships. It used to be the fringe of the campus of the University of Alabama. Now the campus has built around them. When you're talking about a great sandwich like the Nuke's Q sandwich or maybe a great salad, that macaroni and cheese is outstanding. The bowl of soup, a cup of soup, as we lower temps here in West Alabama, you can parlay those and you can pick a pair. Maybe it's a California-style pizza. Maybe it's the great chicken salad, the pimento cheese. Catering from a small office party to a larger corporate event. Nuke's Eatery, 205 University Boulevard, close enough that you can smell the championships. Go see Joel Bromfield and all the friendly folks at Nuke's on University Boulevard.
Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway, one arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other, a sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better, I'm together with my Dixieland tonight. Spend my dollar, park in a holler neath the mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little loving, a little turning oven on a Mason-Dixon night. This my life. Oh, so right, my Dixieland.
I know one thing that works. It's not just the dump button. The AC is working in this studio. Noah, do you need to borrow the flathead screwdriver where we can break in the thermostat box? Because
we needed it the other day whenever you're gone.
Buddy,
I was like,
it is. I know we're going down to the 20s. We're in the 20s, I think the upper 20s. So I've been hearing that. Nate Oates receiving a big contract extension and now becoming one of the highest, if not the highest buyout in college basketball. His salary is going to go up significantly, and the buyout's up to, what is it, about $18 million? Wow, look at Nate Oates. Wow. Kalen DeBoer is also going to become a $10 million man. He was a $4.2 million man last year. Now he's going to become a $10 million man. And that contract is somewhere in the $85 to $87 million range, 8-year deal. It will end up in the final year of his contract. And these contracts never make it because they always get extended. So even though it's 8 years now, 3 years from now, they'll add another 4 or 5 years to it. And that's the way these contracts, and that's the way they did with Nick Saban. So Greg Byrne also getting a 7-year deal. In his first year will be somewhere around 2.31. That'll set up this coming July. Wow. Final year will be 2.75. Strength conditioning coach up to $1 million. He's going to be the second highest paid strength conditioning coach. Alabama, Kane Womack will be the highest paid assistant coach up to 1.55. Freddie Roach up to $1 million. Looking through some of these numbers, wow. I mean, just a pretty impressive list when you look at the Board of Trustees approving all these different salaries. Greg Byrne getting a significant pay raise. Kalen DeBoer able to stay in front of inflation. Inflation's about 3.7% now. Is that right?
You know better than I do.
Jackson's saying more. Jackson's a Fox News guy. Jackson, what does Fox News tell us? Is it higher than 3.75? Is it what is the current price of inflation?
Everybody's wallets can say something different, but
okay, inflation rate
the
currently.
official number is 3.7. I think you are correct.
Okay.
The quote unquote official number. Right. That's what.
Okay. So we'll stick with that 3.75 because it sounds good. I think I went down to Sam's Club yesterday and I taught you about the dog food. It was $47 a couple of years ago. It was $52 back in November. Now it's $62. We may be putting the Fowler dogs. Don't let my wife hear this, but we may put them on a cheaper, like Old Roy. Old Roy. That's like the
Roy in Kansas.
No, not Roy in Kansas, but Old Roy is like the cheap version of dog food. That's where we're probably going to be trending to. We may just have to put it in a different bag where it looks like. I mean, because these dogs are kind of ticky. No more Purina One or whatever we're buying these days. We may have to go down to the Old Roy brand of dog food. But appreciate each and every one of you guys. Noah, can you play Dixieland Delight? I didn't even do the credentials. I mean, Bama Nick's got me all out. I mean, this fight that's broke out. I mean, I'm trying to get men fences. I mean, you got Barrett Salee and Tony's best friends now. Tommy and Bama Nick are going at it. Bama Nick called up during the break, said if he's going to be the number one caller, you guys can go to. And I was like, okay, well, I guess he doesn't want Tommy to be the number one caller.
Holding my lover with the other.
He's about to make this. He's about to make this AC Bangladesh reference. Listen to it. It's coming up. It's deeper in the song, but it's somewhere here. 18 national titles, 30 SEC titles, 147 first-team All-Americans, 77 postseason appearances, 45 postseason victories, 4 Heisman winners, the NCAA all-time scoring leader, and the greatest football coaches to ever walk the sidelines. We are talking a little Alabama Crimson Tide football, and we start out with Jimbo. Jimbo, good afternoon. You're in the game.
You start out with who?
Jumbo.
There we go.
Hold on, here we go.
That's what I'm talking about. Now coming to the ring, Cousin Jumbo.
You know, every time you do that, we always get a positive reaction from Steve up in Montreal.
Oh, Blueberry Steve?
Yeah.
Man, I got to meet that guy. I mean, I'm telling you, me and him would hit it off.
He's coming back down for a big game. He was down here for Alabama and LSU this past year, and he's coming down for another one.
Well, hopefully we can keep in contact, or keep it well, to the show, and then find out when he's coming down. I'd love to meet him. So, like I said, I've been to Halifax, Nova Scotia twice, and I absolutely loved it up there. So, hey, who would want Bama Nick's package?
Well, it's a pretty large package. It includes a Moultrie.
Well, I want two packages, so that makes mine bigger. So I don't need a needle and 2 little balls of thread. So give me mine. It's more than what he's got in his. So.
Well, I don't think we're talking about the same type of package. This is we had a Pat's Florist dozen red roses, courtesy of our good folks right there. They've been a long-time sponsor of our package, or their package. I mean, golly bum, you guys have got me. I can't even talk today.
That was a clean joke.
I know, but it's a Moultrie camera, and so he didn't pick it up. Mark Smart gift package. Mark Smart gift package. And so now
Mark Smart's pretty good. That's a good.
So we're recycling this. So we'll do the NCAA tournament, NCAA, and we've done it for years. And but AC in Bangladesh that didn't sound very pleased with what we were doing. He wanted to do something else, but.
Well, hey, I'm gonna go on out on a limb here and say they did a pretty good job last week. They made it funny. Robert and I were supposed to go head to head, and I had an incident at church. That was a little bit of a tragic thing that I had to deal with. We lost a church member, and I know Robert had some things going on. But Butterball is scared to go toe to toe with me because he knows that I'm going to take him down. So a while ago, I was shooting at him, trying to get him to fire back at me, but he wouldn't do it. But, Robert says I'm bad at picking football, which I'm not great. I'm good at picking basketball, but the only thing he's good at picking is his nose. So we'll leave that right there and see what happens.
Can we just all find a way to get along?
Well, look, y'all were the one who wanted to do a throwdown. I wanted to do it, but I had an incident come up, so I had to take care of that. So,
I mean, is there anybody that's not at odds on this radio show? Is there anybody that's not at odds on this radio show? I mean, I leave for a few days. We go on a little bit of a vacation. I come back, and all crap is broke loose.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I love Robert to death, but I gotta go at it with my Butterball. We gotta see what happens.
Why do you call him Butterball? I'm just curious.
Because he was calling me Jimbo. So I just automatically, it popped in my head, Butterball.
Okay.
So, and I'm not Jimbo. I think, that's cool. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'm good. I didn't say anything bad. But I'm Jumbo. My name is Jumbo. You ask anybody out of the hospital who Jumbo is, that's me, baby. They know who I am.
Well, all right. So we're Brett and Tony's up to a pretty commanding lead. I don't think there's any way in 45 minutes the naysayers can change this narrative.
Digger's on the line.
Well, Digger is.
Well, I thought he did okay.
That's true.
And,
but he only gets one vote unless we're in Georgia, and you get 2 votes if you vote in Georgia. If you vote over there, he's in Louisiana. I think they count the right votes down there. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, no one kept him in line. He did a good job. And I was on hold one day, but I had something that popped up and I had to get offline. So I only called him once, but I listened just about every day. And I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, some of the topics were topics we don't go on, but they made it interesting. And I thought they did a pretty good job. So, hey, when you were in Gulf Shores, did you go to Lambert's?
Lambert's has always got too long of a wait. And Jumbo, I'm on this new. I don't really want to call it diet, but it's a lifestyle change. Well, Jumbo, I can't eat what I used to be able to eat. My doctor screams at me. He yells at me. Verbal abuse.
It's better or worse than how you do to me, Ryan?
Well, verbal abuse. It's we have come into Jesus meetings on the couch. You ever had one of those? I mean, that's an old Southern phrase. We had a come into Jesus meeting, okay?
Well, I've come to Jesus.
I love my doctor. I love my doctor, but he's a little rough, man. I mean, I lose 34 pounds, and he told me the other day, he said, don't you think it's time to start getting serious? Doc, that was 30 pounds ago.
I lose 30 pounds when I go to the bathroom sometimes. I don't know what it is with these diets, but we love to eat.
What's wrong with eating?
Nothing.
It's the fuel of the body.
That's right. It is.
And I had a lot of seafood, by the way, and I even found a place down there that is local only. They only encourage locals to eat there. So that tells me, well, I can't tell you, Jumbo.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I know
it's a literally they encourage. It's a local place, local little hangout. Okay. I mean, I might better tell you in private, but this place was Wow. It's hidden,
Cheryl
too.
and I went to
It's
a place
hidden.
that was...
But now Danny G knows about it because I told him about it. And he's like...
Oh, okay. Did you see him while you were down there?
I did. We had my wife and him and his wife, we had dinner one night.
Yeah, Danny's a good old boy. He's a good old boy.
Yeah, he is. No, he's a great guy. Great guy. He's been working a ton. So I told him...
he and I haven't spoke much lately, so we've both been busy working.
Y'all mad at one another, too?
Oh, no. We just, the way I've been working and the way he was working, see, we went on vacation, went up to Tennessee, and, oh, Lord, I got to tell you this story. I don't know if I told you or not, but went up there for vacation, and I was working just to get the extra money because I didn't want to dip into savings, but went to Mel's Diner, if anybody knows where Mel's Diner is.
Yeah, it's right there on the corner like you going back to Weir's Valley. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right there next to the BP station. Cheryl and I sat down, went in there for breakfast, and lo and behold, who was right across from me? Auburn fans. And I was like, man. So the waitress came over.
Were
there
they bussing the tables?
No, they were scarfing down some food, but
oh, okay. I thought when you said Auburn fans were working at Mel's Diner, I thought they were.
But I told the waitress, I said, hey, go over and tell them Roll Tide. She went over and she said, hey, I'm supposed to tell y'all Roll Tide. And I kind of looked at the guy and I said, mm-hmm. So we got to talking every day. He was prior Coast Guard. And we got to talking, and they were from Mobile, and I told them I was stationed down there, lived in Alberta, all that good stuff. But anyway, make the story short, they got up and left, and I told them, I said, hey, y'all be safe, enjoy yourselves. And Cheryl and I was sitting there eating. We got through eating, and the waitress come down and got all her stuff, and I said, you go ahead and bring my ticket. And she said, no, you're taken care of. And I was like, what? And I looked at Cheryl, and she looked at me, and I said, what do you mean? She said, the gentleman paid for it over there. The Auburn fan paid for it. And I was like, oh, man. So now I kind of got a little soft spot for certain Auburn.
No. You cannot do this. No. Listen, I mean, we got to draw the line somewhere. You can't.
It was a good Christian thing he done.
No. Take it back. Take it back. I mean, listen, there's a lot of things that we'll allow fly on this show. Bragging on Auburn is not one of those. Jumbo, I'm sorry.
I'm not really bragging on Auburn.
No, it sounds like you are. Yeah, that's the direction that you're moving, and we're putting a stop sign up right here. No more.
Okay, well, let me not be a hypocrite. I did say it kind of made me a little softer toward certain Auburn fans. Okay.
I mean, the next thing you're going to say is that you were upset that they got a number 4 seed yesterday in the NCAA tournament. I mean, were you upset about that too?
No, I didn't really care. I was just worried about where Alabama's men and women were.
Okay.
But anyway, we went. It was great, and y'all didn't go to Lambert's?
No, we did not. We did not.
We're there is a nice seafood place if you really like eating seafood. Get on the expressway and go like you're going toward Pensacola. Once you go across the last bridge, right down on the left, there's a place down there, and it's fantastic seafood.
Yeah, Chuck Norwood has sent me to that place. I can't think of the name of it. Is it like Barracuda or Barracuda or?
Yeah, Cheryl's relatives went to it or told her about it, and we went down there. I mean, the seafood was outstanding. So next time I'll do that.
And I'm starting to develop a pretty good list. I know our friends over at Northport Power Equipment, also Bryant and Keith Ellis over there, they've sent me to a couple of really, really good places. Bryant's popular down there. He's a snowbird, part-time snowbird over at Northport Power Equipment, and he sent me to a couple little hidden local places too. So, I mean, Jumbo, I like to trust those people that, you never trust. Like if Noah told you somewhere to go eat, Noah, how much you weigh? 135,
something like that.
Oh Lord,
yeah,
we got to fatten that boy up.
If Noah says somewhere good to eat, you don't do that.
If Noah saw me, he would know why. So, but I mean,
my MO. You go to a town, you find the biggest guy that you can find, and you say, "Where's the best place to eat?"
That guys always know where the best places are to eat. Buddy.
Sure, that's no secret. I mean, why do people trust me when I say Southern Ale House?
Well, you led us to Mike's, Big Mike's, and then there was the gentleman that was doing a sponsored show over there in the square at the university right before you go down the hill. He had a little restaurant right there, and he went out of business. We went over there and ate burgers, and he had some really fantastic shakes. That place was off the chart. I can't remember the name of it, but he was one of your sponsors.
How did we get on this food? Now I went from not hungry to, yeah.
I mean, you know, whenever you and I talk, I mean, you know, we've eaten at Southern Ale House, which is just, it's fantastic. Big Mike's is open. So the guys you got for your sponsors, they
we actually put them through a filtration. We don't just accept anybody. We don't just walk out and go, well, you know, you're going to be a sponsor. That's not the way this thing works. I mean, we're not that desperate. You gotta, you know, if I'm going to tell you somewhere good to eat, and you go there and get a bad meal, are you going to trust my opinion the next time I tell you somewhere good to eat?
Well, yeah, you're allowed to throw one out there every once in a while. So, I mean, you know, if you ever go back up to Pigeon Forge, go to Papa's Kitchen. It's a Cajun place on Weir's Valley. They are off the chart. I mean, them guys are fantastic. So, but I mean, Southern Ale House, I love that place and the guy there. So it seems like the people who sponsor you at restaurants, they're just awesome. They're off the chart. So,
Final, thank you, Jumbo. I hope you have a great day, man.
Man, y'all have a good one. Roll Tide.
Right back to you, Jimbo, helping us out. Wyatt, you know any good local places down in Lower Alabama? I mean, you're from down there, right?
They got this place called Squid Ink. They make some of the best spicy
What's it
chicken.
called?
Squid Ink down in Mobile. It's in downtown. It's one of the best chicken sandwiches I've had in a while.
But now listen, don't take this the wrong way. But when we go south, it's seafood. You're bringing up chicken.
There's good seafood place. Cobalt's got some great firecracker shrimp.
Okay.
One of my favorites down at the Gulf.
Cobalt is what Jumbo was talking about across the bridge. I just couldn't think of it. I was saying barracuda. I mean, it's a type of fish, right?
It's one of my favorite.
Cobalt is the place. That's I didn't make it. Chuck Norwood sent me there.
Just on the other side of the pass down there.
Yeah, it's on the left. Beautiful little location there. I mean, we've got all in the food here. I mean, fried shrimp, baked shrimp, shrimp scampi, shrimp pie. What does this look? Lord, I mean,
I'm about to leave and go get something to eat because, you know, you've got me hungry here.
Noah's probably got an extra macaroni and cheese.
I gotta go get more at the store.
I need to take care of that. I mean, for all the crap we put you through last week, I need to go get him like one of them Sam's boxes of macaroni and cheese, you know. But I'm going to go with the big, because it's on sale right now, the nice, the Velveeta cheese, not Great Value. How do you live on macaroni and cheese? You know it's not very nutritious. I mean,
it's just something to tide me over so I can eat something for real later.
Okay. But, I mean, you eat macaroni and cheese like every day.
Well, when I make it at home, I put chicken in it.
Well, that's smart. Chef Noah. Chicken, macaroni, and cheese. Digger all about food. He'll talk about it coming up. Mark's all about food. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, you can find the fresh cuts of meats, the ribeyes, the pork chops, the chicken, the salmon, the twice-baked potatoes, the local specialties, the casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, the cakes, the pies, the cheeses. Mark's downtown north part of that Roll Tide Bridge. We'll get to Digger. We'll get to Jared in Houston next. T-Town Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
The National Weather Service in Birmingham has issued a freeze warning for Tuesday, March 19th from 1 a.m. until 9 a.m. for portions of Tuscaloosa and central Alabama. You can read about that at the TuscaloosaThread.com. In addition, the Northport City Council is expected to undergo more change, with District 1 member Christy Bobo expected to move up to replace former President Jeff Hogg, who unexpectedly resigned. A franchise owner is scouting Tuscaloosa for the perfect spot to build the city's first 7-brew coffee drive-thru. You can read about these stories and more at the TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We got a 3-laner on McFarland Boulevard westbound at Fayette Highway. It is gridlocked due to this accident, which is only allowing that far right lane to squeeze by because all the left lanes are blocked. And it's solid on 69 still on the northbound lanes to, it looks like Union.
Or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A sunny, cool, breezy afternoon. The high today 58. Tonight, a freeze warning in effect. The sky clear. Tuscaloosa's low near 30. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days. The high tomorrow 59. Warmer Wednesday, the high 71. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The longest running sports show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
There's a tear in my beer.
This has been Noah's theme work this week. It's The Pharmacy at Midtown. TJ Thomas. He's the Nick Saban of pharmacists. The Pharmacy at Midtown, 205-752-0627. Independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine on time, packaging, compounding needs. The only sterile compounding facility. The Pharmacy at Midtown. And also reminding you about The Standard. Mouthwatering hot, fresh pizzas available by DoorDash or visit The Standard on the Strip. We are the home of the 20-inch pizza pie, pepperoni, meat lovers, cheese, or design your own. The Standard on the Strip also features wings, boneless wings, fresh made to order, hand-cut fries, mac and cheese bites. Noah, did you hear that? Macaroni and cheese bites. They've got them at The Standard. And the cheese sticks as well. Dine in full-service restaurant or order online at thestandardbama.com. Lunch, dinner, or late night, the best pizza in T-Town is The Standard on the Strip. Let's go to Digger. Digger, number one caller on the game. Digger, how are you? Welcome into the game.
I recommended Cobalt to you a year ago. You complained about the prices.
Well, I know, but you and I have built
Now
trust.
you're taking credit?
No. You and I have built a trust over the years. And so now I'm willing to. I mean, a year ago, I wouldn't trust you if you sent me to Crystal.
As soon as he said that, I said, that's Cobalt. What is he talking about?
But you taught me something a few years ago. You realize that you
What?
taught me something a few years ago?
What?
Oh, what type of dog do you have? Forget about that.
No, that's my neighbor's dog. Oh my God, they go to the shed. They don't like the idea of dogs being euthanized, and it's like he's hoarding all kinds of animals over there. Go ahead.
Wow, sounds like a gated community.
Well, get it. Ryan, I have a Pomeranian they bitch and moan about, and they got these dogs across the street. I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, if this show could not take another step, now we're complaining about dogs and neighborhoods. I love it. I love it. This is a free-for-all Monday presented by Brian Hart Construction.
Taking a page out of Brett and Tony's book.
Okay. But no, you taught me something a couple of years ago. Okay. And see, I'm supposed to be like a food expert.
Right.
But you taught me it was what is it called? Michelin graded restaurants?
Yes.
You taught me that.
Stars.
You taught me that.
Well, Ryan, that's nothing special. Everybody knows that. I was just letting you know about it. I mean, come on. I think Tony knows about it too.
Well, I mean, he's got a sophisticated
palate.
palate. I'm not as.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Well,
what
okay,
tastes good, but I don't know what makes it taste good other than, got to mix this. I mean, like today we're at lunch at Southern Ale House, and Brett's over here explaining how he roasted some cabbage and tied it together with some sweetness, and I'm going, okay. I mean, it tastes good, but I don't know how you got there.
Wait a minute. He had Asian cabbage, and he roasted it?
No, I think it was American cabbage.
Oh. It sounded like he had Asian sweet.
Something about he braised the cabbage and then he put corned beef on there. It was really good.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah. It's.
Oh, I get it.
Well, he's a day late on the St. Patty's Day. They're closed on Sunday, so they rolled it out today. And they did the Reuben sandwiches, and they did the corned beef and hash, and they did the shepherd's pie, and they got Irish music playing. So if you're looking for a good place, Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard.
Let me teach you something about shepherd's pie.
Okay.
Shepherd, did it have lamb in it?
I never got that far.
No?
I just saw the corned beef, and that's where I went.
Yeah. Shepherd's pie has lamb in it. What you want with the ground beef is cottage pie. There's a difference. If you were to catch a restaurant doing that,
so cottage pie and shepherd's pie and.
But anyway, real quick, I wanted to ask you something. Who won the basketball game last week on the guessing? I thought I won this damn thing.
Well, okay, all right. So let me tell you this, okay? Brett Gardner, who complained and moaned and groaned about my score prediction contest, okay? I mean, he moaned and he groaned and he said we didn't do it the right way. He gave me 2 Southern Ale House gift cards They're out in my car right now. They're out in my car. Got two of them. One is like for the week-long contest where everybody was entered in that participated. We're giving away a Southern Ale House gift card. He also had one for the score prediction contest. Neither has he told me the winner. He said he's got to add all of it up.
Well, I told him I won it.
I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to add all this up.
Bread pudding. I said, forget about the card. Send me a Butterfinger bread pudding, and I'm sending to Poydras 1 in New Orleans. I'll be down there at the Hilton, and I'm going to be at the ball. And, of course, I didn't expect him to send it. I was just playing with him at that time. It got out of control last week. It was epic.
So they're leading. Okay, so you're voting now. So we're 13-2. 13-2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Greg was thinking. Greg needs to go take a nap during these hours if he's got a problem with the show. Holy cow. I'm being serious.
Well,
now,
I mean,
let's get down to order of business. I want to talk to you about Alabama real quick.
Okay.
Did I hear correctly? Greg Burns got a raise?
Greg Byrne did get a significant raise.
Why? I'm asking why.
Well,
y'all should be screaming bloody murder for this.
Whoa. What do you mean?
Man, I'm asking why did you give this man a raise? I'm just asking. I thought there was a standard.
Why should Greg Byrne not get a raise?
Well, how many SEC championships did he win last week? The department's operating in the red.
And you're going to base that on Greg Byrne?
Performance. That's all I'm saying. When CDC asked for a raise...
Well, I'm sorry that we're not up to our standard in swimming and diving like your team, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying. We asked why. When he asked for a raise, we asked why. And he says, well, I've won 12 Big 12 championships last year for you. And then when Coach Sark asked for a raise, we asked why. Said, well, I won the Big 12 for you. I know I didn't have a good 2 years, but I'm operating at $4.5 million. I need a raise. And guess what? I think he earned it. Okay?
So far,
getting us ready for the SEC.
Okay, but you're against Greg Byrne getting a pay raise.
Why? I just want to know why. I didn't say I was against it. I just want to know why. You're operating in the red.
We're kicking butt and taking names.
Like where? Tell me where.
All over the place.
Are you kicking butt? Really? You won one title in football. One title. You won the Natty last year. I'm just letting you know. That's when he asked for a raise. I won 4 Natties last year for you.
Yeah, but you know,
okay.
Your team and my team has the same thing in common. Neither one of us hoisted up a trophy, and it just so happened that our coach beat your coach.
That doesn't mean anything. Was that on the field in Alabama? No. He wasn't even your coach.
He is now.
Your coach wasn't even at Alabama last year.
I can hear I can hear the worry in your voice, Digger. I can hear it.
I'm not concerned.
Yeah, you are. You don't have to avoid it. I can hear the voice.
It's
crackling.
I readily admit that he beat us twice, but also I have my reasons, and I'm using the same excuse he did when he lost. Okay. We didn't have our running back. That's exactly what he said. And I said, you know what? I'll use that because we didn't have ours either. So, but I'm just saying, why? I'm not trying to raise a big stink. I just want to know why is Greg Burns getting a raise.
He deserved it.
No, he doesn't. What did he do?
When you can navigate this current chaotic mess in the world of college athletics and you're okay.
Anybody can do that.
Oh, no.
What did he do when he navigated?
Then you don't know your Alabama history because we really haven't been able to navigate this. This is the first time in my tenure that I've looked at Alabama's athletic department and we don't get pushed over.
Pushed over what? Like what?
We don't get pushed over. We used to get, the king used to bow to the rest. We were the king. We still are the king. You run through the credentials a couple of minutes.
Okay, I just want to know.
And so we've always bowed. We've always let everybody else be in charge. Not anymore. Greg Byrne doesn't allow us to get pushed around, which is a good thing. That's a win with it itself. And we're not going to let Texas and boys from Austin. I know you guys think that y'all are God's greatest gift to college athletics, but the only people that think that is the people who wear that burnt orange color. That's it.
Listen, all I'm asking, we'll raise the stink if we don't win, okay? And
no, y'all raise a stink when y'all don't get y'all's way.
Year.
We don't care about swimming and diving, Digger.
Of course you don't. And
no,
that's why
and we're
I'm
admitting
asking,
it. We're admitting it right here.
Why is he getting a raise for that? Why is he getting a raise for that if he doesn't give a shit about it? I'm sorry.
There we go again.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. At least nobody heard that. You got the dump button?
No, we missed it.
Hit it.
I mean, we've already worn that thing
but
out.
Anyway, so you didn't. Okay, basketball, you got in the tournament, but you didn't get to what?
It's the first time in the history of our
there.
program that we've went top 4 seeds or higher.
And that warrants a raise?
Sure, why not?
That's basketball. I mean, you didn't even get the
It's the market. It's the market, okay?
You win an SEC championship last year. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, but you didn't this year.
Oh, Digger.
That's what I'm just saying. You didn't. I'm just saying. What has he done? I need to see results. If that's, and I'm being different. You got one football championship. What else? SEC.
You got. I mean,
That's it
you
for the year.
have no reason to educate us on championships. You've won one championship in 50 years,
buddy. You want to talk championship?
Oh, I'm not going volleyball. I'm not going all these.
It all counts, Ryan.
Okay,
it's
well,
in the athletic department.
Call somebody
Ryan.
else,
It's under
Digger.
the
We
athletic
don't.
department.
Well, I don't care about swimming and diving. I'm admitting to it right here. I mean, it's good. I'm glad we have a beautiful swimming pool, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's.
One more thing.
I'm
when
glad.
he was up there at Capitol Hill, bemoaning the fact that he only had 2 sports making money and he had to pay for the rest.
Yep.
I asked why. You're an athletic director. You should be able to do that yourself. We made money in every sport in our athletic department.
Well,
we made $271 million last year, a record. It can be done if you do it right. I'm asking why. Why did Greg Burns have to bemoan the fact that he can't manage that and he gets a raise?
It's none of your business, though. I mean, well, hold on. I didn't mean to hit you off there. I didn't mean I hit the wrong button. But I mean, you're a Texas guy. Why is it important to you?
Well, I just wanted to know why. That's why, man.
Well, we're telling you why, and you don't like what I'm telling you. So that's okay. Well, I got to run, Digger. I'm chasing
Why? That's my question. Why?
Be sure and mark your calendars for this free, exciting event for all ages. For more details, log on to NorthportBunnyTrail.com.
Over 60 years of serving Tuscaloosa and West Alabama. When you talk about the friendly staff at Pat's Florist and Gourmet Baskets, 1010 Queen City Avenue, when you look at the fall floral arrangements, maybe you're trying to lift someone's spirits a little bit under the weather, celebrating a birthday or special occasion, it's Pat's Florist.
Every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
With only 43 seconds remaining, facing a 4th and goal from the 31-yard line at Jordan-Hare Stadium, quarterback Jalen Milroe finds himself under immense pressure, scrambling to connect with Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone for a miraculous come-from-behind victory over Auburn. The jaw-dropping 27-24 result came on the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Daniel Moore is proud to announce 4th and 31, his upcoming oil painting featuring the now famous Gravedigger play. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for limited edition fine art prints and canvases of 4th and 31. See the preliminary pencil sketch for the artist's full color painting at DanielMooreArt.com. Pre-order your artwork now by calling 1-800-735-2787 or by visiting DanielMooreArt.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, this is the time we are looking at gridlocks all across the city. So McFarland Boulevard westbound at Fayette Highway. This is your biggest one because it is blocking all those left lanes. Go ahead and make your way on over to the right lane to get by. Everybody's making that single file line. So, of course, it is bumper to bumper. Again on McFarland.
Juicy Juice.
Prices are falling at Townsend Nissan. Don't wait. Rates as low as 0%. Townsend Nissan, Tuscaloosa.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide football.
Alabama touchdown.
Only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Lazy yellow moon coming up to
Noah, did you go back to Coleman this past weekend?
Say that one more time?
Did you go back to Coleman this past weekend?
No, I think I'm going to go this weekend, though.
Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to connect all the music. I figured you might be hanging back up in our North Alabama roots. Because, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's probably like a very popular song. I mean, this is,
Jackson picked this one.
This is Jackson. Jackson must have... he was hanging down Panama City. I doubt that's on Club. What is it? What's that place down there? Club La Vila or what's it? There used to be two places. Maybe one was called Spinnakers.
Down there.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, well, it used to be Spring Break. Now they probably go to Mexico. You guys are. I think they go like to Cozumel or something. That's where the Spring Break place is.
It's easy to get across the border.
Depends on which way you're going. Jackson, you have baited me all day. Between you and Noah and everybody else, can I just get back to the show? The Wharf looking for a new pair of boots. We're going to need some new boots. It's getting deep up in here. It is. It is the Wharf. Justin, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo, and many, many more. If you're looking for a new pair of boots, you'll find those, and they're open until 6 p.m. daily, right there on McFarland Boulevard. It is between Winn-Dixie and the Blue Plate. You'll see our folks right there. Wrangler, Levi Lee, you'll find those. It is the Wharf since 1976. Let's continue, and we go to Jared in Houston, Texas. Jared, good afternoon. You're in the game.
What's happening, Ryan? How was your vacation, man?
It was good. It sounds like the crap hit the fan over here.
Well, it was, first of all, Digger, we don't care about goat roping, hog trapping, and rattlesnake wrangling national championships.
Well,
we don't count those.
Jared, you're in Houston. They kind of do things different up in Austin. You know what I mean?
They're goat roping, hog trapping, rattlesnake wrestling fools. So if they want to count those as national championships, y'all go ahead and do your thing. But we talk about football, basketball, baseball, softball. We'll get into that, but all that other stuff. The hog trapping and the goat roping and all that stuff. We don't care about diving and swimming and archery and all that stuff. It don't matter. And let me tell you something. They don't make money in every sport they do either. That's bogus.
Well, it's all about that rich alumni writing a check. Oh, okay, we're down. We're down so much. Okay, here's a check.
Take some out of our endowment fund and make it look like we're profitable.
Sure, and that's what Texas has got, that gigantic ego. They want you to think that there's something bigger than what they are. They're big, but
I've got a couple friends that are Texas fans, and they're actually good people, but some of them are just delusional. Anyway, last week was fantastic. I thought Tony and Brett did a really good job. And let me tell you something.
14-2. 14-2.
I don't know if you heard the audio or not, but Tasmanian Tommy the Machine Gun came in there with that uppercut to the body and knocked every ounce of PBR out of Chicken Nick's liver. He knocked it loose.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Bama Nick is on the verge of hitting the transfer portal is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, he needs to, because he got his liver knocked loose by Tasmanian Tommy the Machine Gun. Yeah, he put it on him pretty strong.
Yeah, it sounds like Bama Nick's going to be in that NIL transfer portal soon. That's what this is trending toward.
Yeah, that's what my hounds are telling me too. They say he's lost his jab and he's got nothing left. So we'll just have to see what happens. But Tommy put it on him pretty strong, and he had no answer for that uppercut to the gut when he hit that liver. And he just jarred it slam loose out of his belly. It come falling right out of there. So anyway, But I thought they did a good job. They got on Booger Eater, Barrett Sallee pretty good. And then the other guy, that Mike Griffith, that was amazing. I thought the whole week was good. I thought they did a good job.
Well, it's we haven't got canceled, so I guess Double D down there is proud of it, right? No,
how are the Snowbirds?
You got Double D downstairs. He's good. He's good. I haven't heard from him, so that's the Snowbirds were great. I mean, we I
don't know if this is true or not, but I got some pretty reliable hounds down in Baldwin County.
Okay.
And I broke the first Fowler sighting news on the show when I called. They said that you were spotted at about 7:30 one morning playing pickleball with the Snowbirds.
No, I don't know. I see it out there happening, but I didn't make the 7 a.m. Pickleball tournament. Didn't do it.
Okay. Well, then it's fake news. But
I think that was Rachel Maddow reporting that.
Mad Cow Rachel, yeah. But
she seems always so angry. You ever watch her? I mean, she just.
No, I don't watch her. She has nothing that I'm interested in because it's all propaganda. It's all dookie. I don't pay attention to her. You know what, Ryan? I don't watch the news anymore. I got a couple sources I watch on Rumble and YouTube, and that's where I get my news. I don't watch this legacy media. It's all just junk. It's all lies. It's all bogus. like the bloodbath stuff they came up with on Trump the other day. That was such a bogus narrative that they tried to create, and it just totally backfired on them.
I got to get out of here, Jared. We only got a couple of minutes, man. I appreciate you as always. I put a vote down for Tony and Brett. They've really pulled after starting 0-2, they have cleaned the bases up.
Who went against them?
Greg, and who was the second caller? Was it Robert in Mobile? Said that he was remodeling the kitchen. There was two callers back to back. It was 0-2. But I mean they're fixing a run rule, Greg in Athens. So
it's 15 after 3, 10 after 5. So the run rule is in effect. Yeah. Anyway, you got to go.
Thanks,
Roll
Jared.
Tide, and Chicken Nick is down, man. He got his liver knocked loose.
It sounds like it. Thank you, Jared. Appreciate you, man. Corey in Trustville, 1 minute. Let it rip.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing this afternoon?
Good. You ready to? Never mind. I'm not going to say it. But you're Robert in Brookwood said he wanted your opinion on Alabama softball. But
very happy they got the win yesterday to avoid the sweep. In fact, it improved Alabama's RPI to back in the top 10.
Yeah.
Got a very, I won't say easy.
Yeah.
But got a manageable week. Can get another top.
So did you call in last week? Was that an endorsement?
I did.
Okay.
I called in every day.
15-2 now. And I got 20 seconds left.
Good week to get some more wins. And
gotcha.
happy for Alabama basketball. Now let's go do some damage.
Let's go. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Ellis, let me get your vote. You going to vote yes or no? Was it a good week?
It's an awesome week.
Okay. 16-2, the final. It's over.
Barney Nick, I hate to say it, but he got slammed last week by Tommy.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like he's picking up the
Tommy
pieces.
come off the top rope with a big elbow.
I got to run, Ellis. Appreciate you as always, man. We remind you that we call this program The Game, and the only way that you win in the big game, the game of life, is to walk daily with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Good night, T-Town.
Thank you for listening to The Game.